the Sheraton Hartford Hotel due to the fact that snow was predicted and school closings were expected. At 4:19 in the morning, WTIC sales manager Bob Dunn was woken by a loud roar, his room actually overlooking the Civic Center, and he could see for himself that the roof had fallen in. He immediately called the newsroom, and in minutes the story was on the air and reporters were on the scene, talking with witnesses, sending reports back to the station. We talked with the Civic Center director and actually held a roundtable discussion with Hartford community leaders on the future of the Civic Center. The day's reports ended with an exclusive interview with Governor Ella Grassa. Sandy Terenzi and the Livian team at Keller Williams is
in 10.
This moment in WTIC history. The real estate team offers extensive services, support, and expertise. So if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, call them at 860-855-SOLD.
This is Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Can you name a single Harris accomplishment or result from the time that she was elected vice president? 3.5 years. Can you name just one? 70% cannot name anything.
They can't name anything. They can't name a thing. 70%, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, put your hands together. It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC, filling in for Todd Feinberg. Oh, man. 70%, you say, Frank Luntz? 70% of people. Oh, trust me, I've got more audio sound bites that prove just that. I'm just cutting back. I'm just cutting back because of the phone call yesterday. She's accomplished so much. Can't name anything, though. She's well accomplished. I read an article today. In fact, I got it in front of me. Back in 2020, Politico did an article that broke down all of Kamala Harris's accomplishments from the moment she stepped into political life. They've got them all, and they are back. Try this on for size. In one of the breakdowns of her political life, folks, try this on for size. One day in 2020, her Wikipedia page was changed over 480 times in one day in 2020. You want to know why it was scrubbed? Because she became the vice presidential candidate in 2020 with Joe Biden, and someone went inside her Wikipedia page and made 480 alterations to it to scrub her past record. That sound familiar, ladies and gentlemen? It should. It should sound awfully familiar. Damn it, every year is 1984. For the rest of our lives, every year is 1984. You know the telephone number, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. We've got the 5 o'clock focus today. This one's a good one. I tested this out, this 5 o'clock focus on my wife today to get a reaction from her, just to get a feel as a woman. And it was, my wife talked about it for 10 minutes. All I had to do was ask her the question, and she went on for 10 minutes. So today's 5 o'clock focus, let me just give you a heads up. Ladies, if you are out there, I want to hear from you. Men, of course, this is, it's equal opportunity phone calls because guys can chime in. But I think women, this story is sort of very close to women in or around the country. And especially here in Connecticut. And you guys remember, this is a story that happened back in May in Clinton. We'll get into that. You know the story. But I want to hear from mothers. If not just, I don't know, maybe somebody who's ever been a babysitter, who's ever had to been a child care provider. I want to hear from them. We'll get into that later on. I'll tell you my personal story about this. Roland and I were talking about it behind the scenes, about how we are with our children. And strangers or people who are taking care of them. Roland, it turns out he's worse than I was. Roland is a Want to talk about a helicopter, Dad? He's a hovercraft. I thought I was bad. Roland may be worse than me. We'll get into that in the 5 o'clock focus today. I will let you know about it or tease it in the 4:30 hour. So if you don't listen to the whole show, and you got to go to work or you're driving in your car, whatever, come on back. It's a really, really good one today. I want to talk about what the FBI Deputy Director, Paula Bates, said today that I called earlier this morning that I knew was going to be a soundbite today, and turns out it was. You may have just heard it at the top of the hour news. And I'm telling you, I predicted it. It was done on purpose. They are throwing dirt in the game for obvious reasons, and this is making me believe in the biggest conspiracy theory ever, and that is, if not the FBI or the Secret Service or other actors, were responsible for the assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump. I didn't want to go there. You may have noticed I have not been talking about it for the last week or so. I've tried to stay away from it because, again, I'm gathering information. I'm listening to what people say. A lot of people just responding to every bit of news that comes out about it. I don't do that. I never do that. I wait until the story is relevant to start spewing about it. Anybody could come on here and just say, hey, did you hear what was happening in the news today? I don't play that. I find out exactly what I need to know, and then I bring it to you. Now, no, and trust me, when I've been in this business a long time, I've had program directors, brand managers, and the like be angry with me and say, this was the biggest story of the week. Reese, come on, man, you got to talk about it. I'm like, no, I don't. No, I don't. I need concrete evidence. I need concrete details before I start talking about anything, because I'm not just here to repeat and regurgitate what you saw in the news. So I won't do that. Which leads me to my personal note, folks. And that is, we have become lazy. We have become lazy. And it is because of television. When I say we, you notice I didn't say you. We have become lazy. I am trying harder and harder to avoid being lazy. And what do I mean by lazy? Not just in our regular lives, in the things that are important for us to know. One of my biggest problems is that I hate to read books. I hate reading. I do a lot of audiobooks. I'm not lying. I hate it, but I need to read more. I say it to force myself over and over. You got to read more. You got to read more. You got to read more. And I got to do it. It's one of the biggest problems. We turn to the television. A lot of us go watch what's on TV. A lot of us, when I first started here at WTIC, I used to listen to everyone talk about what they were saying in the news media, what they were saying in the newspapers. And I used to say, stop relying on them to tell you what you already know. Stop putting it in the hands of people who you know are lying to you. And it made me think of one of the greatest movies ever. One of the films that is rarely talked about because of the topic I'm talking about today. The movie is called Network. You guys remember that? Some of you are old enough to remember that film. Some of you are old enough to remember the movie Network. You young people, not so much. But this movie was important. It had one of the most famous lines in Hollywood history. Remember this?
I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
You remember that? One of the most famous lines in Hollywood history. It is. And when I saw that movie for the first time, and I'd always known that clip, but I was like, what is that movie about? And it took me a long time to watch it. I didn't really sit down and watch it until 2012. And for those of you who have followed Reese on the Radio since 2012, when I first started the Reese on the Radio rundown, you might remember that I used to begin every show with this quote from the movie.
What's wrong with being an angry prophet denouncing the hypocrisies of our times?
Do you want to be an angry prophet denouncing the hypocrisies of our times?
Yeah, I think I'd like to be an angry prophet denouncing the hypocrisies of our times. Then grab it.
And I always began my intro with that. I created my intro just based on that, being an angry prophet denouncing the hypocrisies of our time. If you look at my bio right here on the Odyssey app, I call myself self-proclaimed the Howard Beale. Because what Howard Beale did in a lot of ways was just sort of cut through all the muckety muck. That character was really, really important to me. Really important to me. And I'm a kid who grew up on television. I've talked about that my entire career, about how television shaped me. Watching certain television taught me how to speak, how to articulate, how to pretty much maneuver in the world, because I'm a kid from the hood. I could have talked and acted like everybody in my neighborhood, in my surroundings, but television taught me certain things. I watched lifestyles that are rich and famous because we were too poor to travel, but I knew everything about Milan. I knew everything about Paris. I knew everything about the French Riviera thanks to Robin Leach. I know where Puerto Vallarta is thanks to the Love Boat. Television was my entire life. It was my escape. But then television became my crutch. Everything had to be watched on television. It was my entertainment. I wouldn't go anywhere but out television. And then again, in 2012, I watched this film, Network. And this monologue by Howard Beale changed everything. Everything for me.
You people and 62 million other Americans are listening to me right now because less than 3% of you people read books, because less than 15% of you read newspapers, because the only truth you know is what you get over this tube. Right now, there is an entire generation that never knew anything that didn't come out of this tube. This tube is the gospel, the ultimate revelation. This tube can make or break presidents, popes, prime ministers. This tube is the most awesome damn force in the whole godless world. And woe is us if it ever falls into the hands of the wrong people. So you listen to me. Listen to me. Television is not the truth. Television is a damn amusement park. Television is a circus, a carnival, a traveling troupe of acrobats, storytellers, dancers, singers, jugglers, sideshow freaks, lion tamers, and football players. We're in the boredom-killing business.
Do you remember that quote? I do. They're in the boredom-killing business. That's what Howard Beale says there. In the boredom-killing business. Whew. But this was the one that changed everything. This line right here.
So if you want the truth, go to God. Go to your gurus. Go to yourselves. Because that's the only place you're ever going to find any real truth. But man, you're never going to get any truth from us. We'll tell you anything you want to hear. We lie like hell. We'll tell you that Kojak always gets the killer and that nobody ever gets cancer in Archie Bunker's house. And no matter how much trouble the hero is in, don't worry, just look at your watch. At the end of the hour, he's going to win. We'll tell you anything you want to hear. We deal in illusions, man. None of it is true. But you people sit there day after day, night after night, all ages, colors, creeds. We're all you know. You're beginning to believe the illusions we're spinning here. You're beginning to think that the tube is reality and that your own lives are unreal. You do whatever the tube tells you. You dress like the tube. You eat like the tube. You raise your children like the tube. You even think like the tube. This is mass madness, you maniacs.
That's what I knew. I couldn't do it anymore. That was my fondness for radio happening right in that moment. That's what made me believe that made me know that I had to stop being lazy, that I had to go way beyond what I was being told on news. It doesn't matter where it's coming from, be it Fox, Newsmax, One America, MSNBC, CNN. I pay attention to everything that they're saying. And when it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. I spent my entire life thinking that I was going to find out everything, but what I realized was everything that was being fed to me is a lie. Is a lie, will continue to be a lie, because no one's interested in telling the truth. Not when there are agendas. So we have to stop being lazy. Stop being lazy. Stop believing the people on television. As Howard Beale says, turn to ourselves, turn to our gurus, turn to our God. We're never going to get any truth out of the television.
In God's name, you people are the real thing. We are the illusion. So turn off your television sets. Turn them off now. Turn them off right now. Turn them off and leave them off. Turn them off right in the middle of the sentence I'm speaking to you now. Turn them off.
We go to the phones, 860-522-WTIC. Lori's in Glastonbury. Hello, Lori.
Hey, Reese. You know what? That whole monologue reminded me of the song by Living Color called Cult of Personality. And I don't know if you had mentioned that before going into that whole monologue, but I was like, ooh, oh my gosh, that's the monologue, like word for word. Really, honestly.
Isn't it? But think about what's so crazy is that movie comes out in the mid-'70s. And if you listen to the opening monologue that Howard Beale says, the first monologue where he talks about, scream out the window that you're as mad as hell. What he says in the opening is, he says, I can't tell you anything about inflation. I can't tell you about, anything about the crime going on in the streets. The whole monologue literally sounds like today, which goes to show you no matter what year you're in, no matter what decade you're in, no matter what generation you're in, we keep living the same cycle over and over again. It's like people say we don't want history to repeat itself, but it actually is because we never learn from it.
Yeah, so the whole reason I'm calling is because I'm a former high school English teacher, and when you said you hate reading, I immediately went into like, what happened? So, why don't you like reading?
I had an embarrassing situation when I was a kid, and I had to read out loud. And I flubbed a word, and the kids in class laughed at me. And it was humiliating, and my ego got in the way. And reading has always been, trust me, don't get me wrong. I read newspapers I've been reading newspapers my entire life. But if I could do it in private, I can read it at my own pace. It's okay. But if it's a book, it took me, I want to say a month to finish Rendezvous with Destiny, the book by Craig Shirley about Ronald Reagan. It took me a month because I couldn't just sit there and read because I fell asleep. I would fall asleep whenever I read a book. So I wanted to read the book, and when audiobooks came out, can I tell you this, Lori? This is really a true story, and I'm not going to kid you. It goes with, I promised to do my Marvel, critique today of the Deadpool movie. This is absolutely true. My friend James Montgomery loved comic books. And I like comic books too, but I didn't want to have to read through them. So I used to buy him whatever comic book that came out and then make him read to me what happened or tell me what happened in the comic book. I am the inventor of audiobooks.
I love a good audiobook. And I mean, lately I do a lot of driving for my job. And so I do a lot of my reading in the car through audiobook. Like I read an Agatha Christie book that was amazing called And Then There Were None.
Yes.
Absolutely wonderful, wonderful book. And even Hillbilly Elegy, which has a lot to do with what I do for my job. So it was pretty incredible to read it. But yeah, no, I'm sorry about that.
I'm going to try. Lori, every day is an opportunity to get better. And I'm reading more. I promise you. I read Greg Dillon's book. I read that recently, read it cover to cover. I read Mike Lebo's, both of his books. I read Mike Lebo's book. So I'm getting better. It still takes me a long time to get through them just because I get distracted. I need movement. If I sit around for too long, idle hands at the devil's playground, I really can't sit one place for a long time and read because I think I'm being lazy. So I got to get up and do something, but I'm trying to be more active in reading more and more books. I promise you I'm working on it.
Okay. All right. Well, as long as you promise that you're working on it.
I'm going to say
okay. Then my former English teacher self, it feels better about that. But I just needed to call and I might call in later when I find out whatever this
Please
is.
try.
I'm
Yes.
going to be working in between, so I probably won't find out what the big thing at 5 is until later.
Okay.
But I'll try to call back in.
You got it. Thank you, Laura. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. This is something that I've got to do better Because if I and this is the thing, I can't have the news constantly be fed to me. I can't have information always be fed to me through the TV. It's convenient. It is convenient. And that's kind of the world we've decided to live in because it's easy access. But, you know, as I've always said here on this network and on others, even my own podcast, is that if we allow people to constantly feed us with this information, we have a tendency to sort of fall into that gap. They want us to. You know, the Kamala Harris thing, which I'll get into later, is the media is given this impression that there's this wide amount of enthusiasm. I've been listening to talk show hosts all over the country for the last couple of days. They all have gone from Trump's going to win this thing to thinking, well, there might be some doubt. And where is it stemming from? The belief from the television that is giving this that has this really alluring effect on them that's making them think that something that's happening when it isn't. That's the whole deal. It isn't true. It's all fabrication. It's all a lie. You have to dig deep. We'll do a little bit of that when we come back. Stick around. It's more news, more views, and me, Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Computer Talk is now commercial-free. That means
you are clear.
Talk and more time for your calls. You heard right. Computer Talk with Tab is now commercial-free, powered by GoNet Speed, bringing you lightning-fast fiber internet. Visit GoNetspeed.com for pricing and availability. Tune in Saturdays, 9 to 11.
Summer is here.
Michael B.
Means pool days, beach trips, and yeah, you guessed it, traffic jams. Oh yeah, and heat waves. Don't let summer catch you by surprise. Get the local news you need, no matter what you're up to, with the free Odyssey app. And never miss a beat with alerts on breaking stories sent directly to your phone. Listen today on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
Isn't it time you thought about an estate plan for your family? Estate planning attorneys help prioritize and carry out personalized asset protection strategies. The law firm of Brown, Payne, Dearest & Scott has served the legal needs of individuals and their small businesses since 1977. Our experienced estate planning team is ready to help. With Brown, Payne, Dearest & Scott, you get more than a lawyer, you get a law firm. Visit us at bpslawyers.com. Simon Lebo approved this ad.
Conquer your career with Career Connect. When it comes to your future, the sky's the limit. But it all starts with a first step. Get connected to training and job opportunities. Eligible applicants can get help with transportation, childcare, housing, and technology. With the right resources to succeed, you're unstoppable. Register today at ct.gov/careerconnect. This project is supported by Federal Award Number SLFRT0128, awarded to Connecticut by the U.S. Department of the Treasury.
Are you struggling with bad feet? Hi, this is Mike. And at the Good Feet store, we hear a lot about foot pain, but we also hear about back, knee, and hip pain. I'd like you to hear what Kelsey, a kinesiologist, has to say about the Good Feet arch support system.
As an exercise specialist, I've seen all kinds of things that people try to put in their shoes to get out of pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that they support all 4 arches in the foot.
So did you know you had 4 arches in each foot? Most shoes and inserts only support 1. And maybe that's the reason all those remedies you tried in the past just didn't work.
When the foot's placed in the ideal position, everything else up the kinetic chain works better. You have better balance, more energy. You're going to feel better. Being able to move freely and out of pain means everything to me.
I get ready to read it now, Mike B.
Come in today. We're located in Avon at 25 Climax Road.
Roland, did you hear this?
Good Feet
Michael B's cousin got bit by a rattlesnake. Michael B.
An appointment for your
in the chat room, his cousin got bit by a rattlesnake in Torrington.
Walk-ins are welcome.
Oh, nah, I didn't hear nothing about that.
How do you
87 degrees at 3:30.
Torrington
I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 10.
It could have been a pet, or it could have been it wasn't out. It wasn't just a random rattlesnake. Somebody owned that snake. Had to be.
Himself the spot where a would-be assassin took aim at Donald.
Just out in the streets or out at the beach or in the woods and a rattlesnake bite you? That's not.
To evaluate his line of sight. What I saw made me ashamed. As a career law enforcement officer and a 25-year veteran with the Secret Service, I cannot defend why that roof was not better secured.
He was moving it from the road.
Police for not circulating.
Oh, wow.
Information before the shooting and for not adequately.
So Michael B said, no, they have timber rattlesnakes in Connecticut. Damn, I thought that was too far north.
To protect kids online.
Oh, that's a different
by
different breed.
Yeah.
The bipartisan
That's not them Australian rattlesnakes, that's for sure.
online content. It will require platforms that are frequently used by minors to ensure they default to the safest settings possible and hold these companies accountable for any harm they do cause. The legislation was pushed by parents of children who died by suicide after online bullying. Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
Meta, the company that owns Facebook, agrees to a $1.4 billion settlement with Texas. That's in a privacy lawsuit over Meta's use of biometric data of users without their permission. The Texas state law prohibits the capture or sale of biometric information, such as facial images or fingerprints, without their consent. American consumers felt more confident in July as near-term expectations rebounded. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
This report comes out as the Federal Reserve begins its two-day policy meeting.
Oh, did you get that clip, by the way?
Unlikely to move the needle on what.
I had to wait till exactly after 3:30, so I'm doing it now.
Oh, okay.
Because it's in half-hour increments.
Gotcha.
They don't let you go into it until the half hour is
Oh,
over.
okay, I got you.
The Dow is up
Okay, so
139,
just
S&P is
keep
down
the clip. I'll
31,
tell you when to play
NASDAQ
it.
dropping
All right.
31. A key Olympics result is coming up. First, the WTIC forecast.
For the rest of the afternoon, a mix of clouds and sun with a thunderstorm in parts of the area, humid and warmer with the high of 88. Tonight, increasing clouds that'll remain warm and humid, the low only down to 74. For Wednesday, variably cloudy, very humid, but not as warm. We'll have a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, the high of 81. Thursday, warmer with partly sunny skies, the high of 91. And then Friday, clouds and sun, a thunderstorm in parts of the area.
That's what I was
Hot
just
and
reading,
humid
Mike.
with
I was
the
like,
high
why
of
would he try to
95.
move it?
I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
87 now. Red Sox and Mariners pregame 6:10 on WTIC. Olympic results. Women's gymnastics, the team final. Team USA wins the gold medal. U.S. men's soccer beats Guinea 3-0 to secure a spot in the quarterfinals. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumulo Financial Retirement Planning with Integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
I don't like onions. I'm doing paleo. Do they have gluten-free bagels? You can't juggle every food request for a work event, or can you? EasyCater is the all-in-one tech platform that makes it easy to get restaurant catering for work, with options for any group size, taste, dietary preference, or budget. EasyCater saves your favorite restaurants and orders, which makes reordering a snap. Need to modify an order? No problem. So when it comes to food for work, make it easy on yourself with EasyCater. Start your order at easycater.com.
It's summer in Britain, and the crimes are just getting started.
I found another body.
Stream the best of British crime drama, only on BritBox. Don't miss new seasons of acclaimed series like Blue Lights, which Time Out calls Belfast's answer to The Wire. And The Responder, starring Martin Freeman in his international Emmy award-winning role.
I can feel it. I'm going to crack.
Stream the best of British crime drama on BritBox.
You know, this is why I want to be a detective.
Watch with a free trial today.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
You talking about when he says Deputy Director Paul
Paul Abate, yeah.
Serious
and that's the part you want?
That's all I want. I just want the reporters, but not when he plays the clip of Abate.
Yeah, right after he finished talking, the deputy finished talking, and then he says Deputy whatever.
Yeah.
I got you.
If you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation.
So it's just like that 12-second clip?
That's it. A way out.
All right.
All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-790-1400. 800-790-1400.
As a roofer, I'm always on the go. So I need to be able to get things done from anywhere. That's why I partnered with Beacon. With their unique Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips 24/7. I rely on Beacon because I never stop building, and neither do they. Now through September 15th, purchase GAF through Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $1,500. Go to BECN.com or download the Beacon Pro Plus app today. Beacon, always building.
Did you know that 9 out of 10 customers would recommend AAA insurance to a friend? 9 out of 10? 9 out of 10 people don't even love their birthday. Yeah, their own birthday.
Michael B. said that his cousin is a true animal lover. He said, but some don't want to be loved. That's a fact.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Cake? Legendary service and superior coverage from AAA Insurance. Something 9 out of 10 of our customers would recommend. Find out why at AAA.com/insurance and get a quote. Based on a 2023 customer survey. Insurance provided by CSAA Insurance Exchange.
Here at Columbia Implant Center, we offer leading-edge technology that allows our patients to have their procedures done in one day, 7 days a week.
I schedule my treatment on a Sunday, and I'll be back to work on Monday.
The thought of dentures at my age, that was the last thing I wanted. But I didn't want the pain anymore either.
Columbia Implant Center eased my mind. They feel like my own teeth.
Our digital dental lab crafts.
Oh, you got about 40 seconds.
It provides efficient.
Full lines, too. I'll put the names in.
Takes less time away from the things that matter to you most.
Tune in to WTIC News Talk 1080 for Healthy Rounds, hosted by Dr. Anthony Alessi. Saturday mornings 11 till noon. Learn from the top experts in their fields about the latest medical findings and call in with your medical question. Healthy Rounds is dedicated to providing accurate and timely health information and is sponsored by Hartford Healthcare, Ratchford Eye Center, St.
Francis,
and Yukon Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Healthy Rounds, Saturday mornings 11 till noon on WTIC, News Talk 1080 and WTIC.com. You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC, News Talk 1080. Reese on the Radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
Now, I want to get into this real quick because I know the phone lines are lit up, and I'm going to get to them in a second. But when I tell you I have a certain sense of this stuff to sort of break down the first half hour, and if you missed that, just talking about laziness and believing everything that comes over the screen, everything that's told to us on television and the news, we got to see past that, and that's my job. My job is to see past it. So I don't jump on things immediately as they come on the screen. It's like, everybody's talking about it. You got to talk about it too. It's like, no. Hold up. I always need to know more. So I found this interesting as I was watching the hearings. And when I heard it, I said, that's going to be a soundbite. I knew it right off the bat. That's going to be a soundbite. Somebody's throwing dirt in the game. Now, that's what they say in the hood. When someone's trying to distract you or somebody's trying to deflect, we call it throwing dirt in the game, dirtying up the crime scene, as it were. So FBI Deputy Director Paula Bate, I guess that's how you pronounce his name, he threw a little bit of dirt in the game with a wink and a nod. You remember I said that the Biden administration and many people who were involved in it said that the president very much was looking like something was really dark on the inside that made people believe that this administration or actors working for it may have been responsible, that American people were starting to think that from lawfare and the indictments, all of it, that it was starting to look troublesome for President Joe Biden to continue on if the American people thought that he was trying to take out his opponent. And then Deputy Director Paula Bate does this of all things during a hearing today, talking about the shooter. And what doesn't make any sense to me is that this is a fact-finding mission in a Senate Oversight Committee. Fact-finding. That means tell us what you know for certain. You don't need to tell us what you think or what might be. We're there to find out the truth. So why does Paul Abate say this? Tell me.
Recently uncovered that I want to share is a social media account which is believed to be associated with the shooter in about the 2019-2020 timeframe.
Let's listen again. This is a fact-finding mission. Why he would share this baffles me.
Something just very recently uncovered that I want to share is a social media account which is believed to be associated with the shooter in about the 2019-2020 timeframe.
believed to be. Your job is to know that it is, factually. You're giving that information to the Senate.
There were over 700 comments posted from this account. Some of these comments, if ultimately attributable to the shooter, appear to reflect anti-Semitic and anti-immigration themes, to espouse political violence, and are described as extreme in nature.
So again, without confirmation, you throw that kind of bait, that kind of red meat out into this fact-finding commission on what the shooter's motives were. Not confirmed, thought, think, might be, possibility. I knew that was going to be a soundbite. And when I come in and do the show today, I hear this from CBS News at the top of the hour. Roll and play that.
Paul Abate told senators a social media account believed to be associated with the gunman espoused political violence and included anti-Semitic and anti-immigrant sentiment.
That's called throwing dirt in the game. You see what's being done here? That's the whole bait and switch. But see, again, I always do my job. A man by the name of, and let's get his name here because I'm going to make sure I pronounce. His name is Andrew Torba. He is the CEO of Gab, another social media site that's much like all the rest of them. He's openly said that I have this so-called site that the FBI is citing, and he said, and this shooter says no such thing about anti-immigration. In fact, on his site, this account that's believed to be that of the shooter is very pro-immigration and very pro-Biden. So why is the FBI lying? Why is the FBI throwing this little chum in the game when the objective is to find out exactly what the motives of the shooter was? It was to take people off the scent. That's why. And this is the FBI deputy director. Anybody believe anything coming out of their mouths as of late? I don't think so. Because this, again, it makes no sense. It doesn't even need to be told. You don't have that confirmed before you come in. You better come in here with facts, not with this, it's believed, it might have been. George is in St. Louis. Is he still on? Hello, George. You're on Reese On The Radio.
Hi, Reese. This is all part of all the same thing, which is the dumbing down of America.
That's right.
You know, this is the same people that sold you an electric car when you brought it home. It caught fire, burned down the house, and now they want to sell you after 4 years another one. Are you that stupid? Are you that dumb? By the way, let's look at the events of July 13th.
Mm-hmm.
They make a rooftop completely clear. They had Thomas Crooks had a clear shot between that rooftop, 400 feet to Trump's head. They also the counter sniper. They obstructed any view that would have taken Thomas Crooks out, from that rooftop that he occupied. They made it impossible. They call it a 1,000,000-to-1 shot by any counter sniper by the Secret Service. They obstructed the view between Thomas Crooks and any possible kind of counter sniper.
I found the part that I found interesting, George, was the fact that there are two Secret Service agents, or at least two officers, who are in that window sill that looking over the position of the shooter. And conveniently, and again, I don't believe in coincidences, but conveniently, one guy leaves his post and gets locked out, making the other agent have to go down and let him in, which again leaves that place all of a sudden unmanned, and then the shooter can climb up and take the shots by the time anyone gets there to realize what's going on. None of that makes sense to me. None of that.
Yeah, and then there's the part with the communications.
Mm-hmm.
That the local police had no communications with the
Secret
with
Service.
The Secret Service. What is with that?
Yeah.
That is completely insulting to everybody.
It shows
would have
that
a secret.
this was the security detail of Ariana Grande, not a former president of the United States. That's what this was. And there's no other way to put it. That's exactly what this was.
Here's what I think happened. In case you're a convenient idiot by the Democrat Party, okay?
Okay, real quick.
They saw Thomas Crooks before July 13th walking around. They knew he was just the guy that would take out Trump because they probably even saw him up on that roof prior to July 13th. So they knew they had their tool.
Tell them to hold and take a quick break.
So guess what? The Democrats are operating just like the mob.
Like I said, I'm not much for conspiracy theories, but like I said, I'm waiting patiently, primarily because more and more details that come out of this always, they seem to just paint themselves. There's no such thing as conspiracy theories anymore, folks. Because otherwise they just tell us we were lying. I got to take a break, George. Let me get to a hard break real quick, and then we'll come back. More news, more views, and your phone calls when we return. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Men, though it really does go without saying, practicing better medicine almost always means better outcomes for patients. And if you suffer with erectile dysfunction, you certainly want a good outcome. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And because we do practice better medicine, we're the leader in treating men's sexual health issues in the Northeast. ED is a terrible condition. It causes stresses in relationships. It creates anxiety and undue hardships on a man and often on their partner as well. Yet many men suffer for years without seeking treatment. But I want to tell you today that you can be free of ED. Seriously, if you're like most men, the treatments we offer at Northeast Men's Health will work for you. In fact, we have protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means you can likely enjoy great sex again without the stress that ED can create. You might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices across the Northeast to serve you.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, he wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Tax relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
We all hear the
Whoa, a minute.
IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at .com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
It's Reese on the Radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
And we are back, as the big voice said, with more news, more views, your phone calls. Let's get right into them. Do we have Mike in? Mike Lebo's on the line. What's going on, Mike?
Reese.
What's going on, sir?
What's cracking, Daddy?
Chilling, man. How are you?
Well, there's a couple things I want to say to you. But first, the main reasons I don't believe in conspiracy theories, Reese, are Benjamin Franklin's admonition that 3 can keep a secret if 2 are dead, and Hanlon's razor, never ascribe to malice that which can be explained by incompetence.
Right.
And especially when you're dealing with government, I'm very loath to think that these people are capable of putting together complicated conspiracies. I mean, I lived in a government institution for 25 years, and they couldn't even figure out the rec schedule. So I have a very difficult time thinking.
But that's the reason, look, this is the reason why I shun the idea of the conspiracy theory. You know, when you hear me say it, right, I said, you ever notice they call it a conspiracy theory, but they never call it a lie, right? Because if you call it a conspiracy theory, you can wax poetic about how conspiracy theories mean that there's no truth to it, right? You say, oh, it's a conspiracy theory, and then people call you a whack job, right? It's done as a pejorative. That's why it's turned. That's why you sort of turn a phrase. It's a conspiracy theory. So like, oh, I can't listen to that. I shouldn't believe a word coming out of his mouth because it's just a conspiracy.
And Reese, it doesn't. I'm not saying conspiracies can't exist.
Oh, okay.
It's just it's my last. I prefer simpler explanations.
Right. Well,
I think
it could be
explanations should do.
It could be just. You know, it could be malice, as you said. It could be incompetent. It could be several things. And I think for me, and I think you would probably agree, the conspiracy usually happens in the cover-up, right? It's like that's usually the problem. It's not so much that what happened is a conspiracy. It's covering it up that becomes the conspiracy writ large, right? That's where it blows up.
Right. They cover up their incompetence by conspiring to cover it up, but they get caught anyway.
That's right. That's always the case.
But I really want to know, Reese, I want to know your thoughts on the Olympic celebration that's getting all the hoopla in the country.
You know, I don't even pay attention to the Olympics, but if you are talking about the whole Christian themed nonsense, I look at it this way. I stopped paying attention to the Olympics as soon as the Olympics stopped being about national pride in each country that came into, which I thought was a good thing. People celebrating their sort of like their national, prowess in the field of sports and I guess, and I'd say sports and strength and speed and all that stuff. And people's like, America and, Russia or, what there were those little country rivalries that we would do. In my view, it was done without war. It was done with friendly competition. And you could root for maybe a small country, maybe that of your homeland here in America. If you were from Croatia, you could be an American and still root for your home country while watching the Olympics. And then it started to become about other things, about social issues. And I think that happened when the two, whatever it was, the two men with the fists up and all that other stuff, and people started celebrating the political nature of the Olympics, and I lost interest. That was in
the 70s, Reese.
I know.
How old are you?
I'm 55, and again, in my view, once it became evident that it had to be about political stances on the world stage, I thought there's no interest. This should only be about sport. This should be about your country versus my country in sport. We all shake hands and we go on. It showed this is what sportsmanship is like in our own country. At the end of a game, people shake hands and say, good game. Hey, we lost, you won. Congratulations, and keep it moving.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that in all sports, those days, if they ever existed, I'm not even sure, but they're long gone. I mean, the problem is athletes become famous. Actors and actresses become famous, and because they have fame, then they think they're capable of giving an intelligent perspective on things. And
do you remember when
simply aren't?
There was a time when Nadia Comaneci and Mary Lou Retton were worldwide names, and there was never anything about, oh, that Russian girl or oh, that American girl. They were just fantastic athletes. There was that time. What the heck? I'm sorry, I got my phone going off in the background. But yeah, there was a time.
Conspiracy. I think Roland's trying to get rid of me.
Well, let me go. I got to go to one more call before I get out of here. But thank you for the question. I appreciate it. You got it, boss man. Tim is in Hamden before we go to a break. What's going on, Tim?
Well, I love the movie Network, and I remember watching that, back at the time. So it was really essentially like a Walter Cronkite kind of character who is essentially slipping in the ratings and essentially, saying whatever the most outrageous thing just to get people to
Hold on, Tim. That's a little misinterpretation. At the time when he goes off on his "I'm as mad as hell" thing, he's looking at the entire world from the perspective of everything's going to hell in a handbag, even his own life. And he was done with it. So he doesn't become outrageous for ratings. He becomes outrageous because he's fed up. Right? He's just fed up.
But he is fed up, but you of course missed the underlying thing with the people pulling the strings behind him.
So no, I didn't miss that. I didn't miss that.
Okay,
I'm only talking about Howard Beale's role.
All right. But I was trying to say, you talked about TV screens. You don't talk about speakers off the radio, do you? Really?
Actually, that's the reason why. Hold on. That's the reason why I'm talking about TV. Because I'll even, to answer your point about what about people in the radio. Here's the thing. One of the biggest problems with brand managers or with program directors, that from my experience in the years, and trust me, I know good ones and I know bad ones. The one thing that I've experienced in my entire life, the one reason why program directors hate talk show hosts, and many of them do, is because they cannot control the content like they would at a hot AC station. They can control what's said and what's done on the air. It's different in talk radio because the personality is important and his views, independent of that of everyone else, no one can control. Hold on. Let's go to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Keep Tim on the line. I'll explain this to him in a minute. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark. NBC. That was a perfect example in that movie. In that movie, talking about what was his name? Pig Vomit?
Pig Vomit.
Yeah, Pig Vomit. The exchange between Howard Stern and Pig Vomit was Pig Vomit couldn't control what he was doing on the air because what he was doing was getting listeners, and he can't get credit for that. You love that part. It's your favorite part of the movie.
Our program director, Janine Lee, and our operations manager, Steve Salhaney. WTIC. Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. If you're heading into Hartford right now, this traffic report being brought to you by Joe the Plumber for fast, friendly, and reliable plumbing service.
How you doing, the cute one?
.com. And if you're heading into downtown Hartford right now, southbound 91 delays.
I already had cut Tim off before you to keep him.
Oh,
okay. Well through Cromwell, up through downtown, up into Windsor. If you're westbound 84, you got some slow traffic approaching the Bulky Bridge into the tunnel. 84 eastbound is a little tight. 48 Capitol Avenue down into the tunnel. 291 through 84, that moves well east of the river. 2 eastbound's okay into Glastonbury. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 eastbound delays as you move up on exit 18 in Waterbury. If you are traveling southbound on the Wilbur Cross Parkway, look for some slow traffic now as you move by exit 63. Could have an accident there. 95 southbound a little slow, pushing down by exit
cool.
New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Drinking water is supposed to be odorless and colorless. If yours isn't, it probably doesn't taste good either. Joe the Plumber will test your water, then recommend the right water treatment systems or filter. That's something we can all raise a glass to. Visit us at calljoetheplumber.com.
WTIC.
For the rest of the afternoon, a mix of clouds and sun, but a thunderstorm in parts of the area. Humid and warmer with the high up to 88. Then tonight, still warm and humid with increasing clouds, the low down to 74. For Wednesday, variably cloudy, very humid, but not as warm with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, the high of 81. Then Thursday, warmer with partly sunny skies, the high up to 91. Friday, clouds and sun, a thunderstorm in parts of the area. It'll be hot and humid, the high of 95. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is 99 and kicks off a year-long celebration to 100 years on the air. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
87 degrees, 4 o'clock. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. Lows in the 70s tonight, highs in the low 80s tomorrow. The Israeli military has struck the Lebanese capital of Beirut, targeting a Hezbollah commander accused of being behind the weekend rocket strike that killed a dozen young people. CBS's Linda Gradstein is in Jerusalem.
The Israeli army said the target was the Hezbollah's second-in-command, who was responsible for the murder of the 12 Druze children in the Golan Heights and the killing of numerous other Israeli civilians. Israel told residents in northern Israel to stay close to bomb shelters, as Hezbollah might respond with rocket fire. Israeli analysts say the attack showed the capability of Israeli intelligence and was meant to be a limited attack.
On a 91-3 vote, the Senate passes two bills to protect children online. They include the Kids Online Safety Act, sponsored by Senator Richard Blumenthal.
It's the most significant child online safety legislation in decades. The bipartisan bill is designed to protect children from dangerous online content. It will require platforms that are frequently used by minors to ensure they default to the safest settings possible and hold these companies accountable for any harm they do cause.
CBS's Stacey Lynn, the acting director of the Secret Service, Ronald Rowe, tells senators he's ashamed that the rooftop used in the assassination attempt on Donald Trump was not secured. Two Senate committees also heard for the first time about social media posts, which may be from the shooter.
CBS News Special Report. The Senate Judiciary and Homeland Security committees are hearing more testimony on security failures during Donald Trump's attempted assassination in Pennsylvania from both the acting director of the Secret Service and FBI Deputy Director Paul Abate. Abate going through the timeline and evidence the agencies have uncovered, including social media posts.
Some of these comments, if ultimately attributable to the shooter, appear to reflect anti-Semitic and anti-immigration themes, to espouse political violence, and are described as extreme in nature.
More from CBS's Nicole Killian.
You had Missouri Senator Josh Hawley really get into a very pointed exchange with the Secret Service director about why more individuals aren't being held accountable. And that is something, too, that Senator Lindsey Graham also mentioned, that he feels people should be fired because of this.
The Secret Service also faulting local law enforcement for not properly securing the area. CBS News Special Report. I'm Monica Ricks.
We'll have late results from Paris in just a few minutes. First, this report from the Summer Games, sponsored by Middlesex Health, the smarter choice for care.
CBS Summer Games. Here's Wendy Gillette.
The 5 members of the U.S. men's gymnastics team are celebrating their bronze, the first time the American men have medaled in the Olympics since 2008. Frederick Richard had the team's best score on high bar.
I think a lot of young boys watching are inspired by us, and that makes me really.
Brody Malone hit all 5 of his routines after a rough qualifying round.
Our goal today was just to hit sets, and we hit 18 for 18.
Asher Hong had the 5th highest vault score of the day. Pommel horse specialist Stephen Nedorozic delivered, and Paul Judah nailed his 4 events, grateful for the support of a crowd filled with Americans.
The crowd chanting USA is invigorating, and you can't ask for a better feeling than that.
Judah and Richard will compete in the all-around competition tomorrow. I'm Wendy Gillette at the Summer Games in Paris, CBS News.
Home ownership. At Progressive, we know it's part of the American dream. It's the land of the free and the home of student drivers ready to back into your new fence at any given time. It's firing up a round of burgers and dogs on your rusty grill with a faulty gas line that engulfs your tool shed in flames. It's also around-the-clock protection when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, which can help keep the American dream of home ownership alive and kicking. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Closing bell report brought to you by Bouvier Insurance. The Dow up 203. S&P dropped 27 points. The NASDAQ was down 223. Red Sox and Mariners pregame 6:10 on WTIC. And at the Olympics, these results. Women's gymnastics, a gold medal for Team USA in the team final. Men's soccer, the U.S. beats Guinea 3-0, advancing to the knockout rounds for the first time since 2000. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News.
1 minute.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now.
And
1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
This is Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
And we're back. News Talk 1080 WTIC. As the big voice said, I'm Reese on the Radio. Folks, be on the lookout for this name, Joyce DeSurse. I'm going to try to get the audio before the end of the show. If I don't, I'll have it tomorrow. This is bombshell stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Only going to prove what I said at the opening of this show. Everything is fake. The opening monologue that I played today, and if you didn't hear it, let me play it again. Some of you may have come in late, and I know you got things to do. You didn't get in the car yet. But I played this early in the break from Frank Lutz, famed pollster, who said this about Kamala Harris.
A single Harris accomplishment or result from the time that she was elected vice president. 3.5 years. Can you name just one? 70% cannot name anything.
70% of those polled said they can't say anything. And now, none other than James O'Keefe, good friend to the room of OMG, has secret tapes of someone at the White House claiming exactly that. Woo! And it's bombshell. Let's get into this BBS Traffic Center with our good friend Mark Christopher.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you and to everyone. And if you're sliding into Hartford right now, southbound side of 91, you got delays from exit 33 down to 32 A and B. Again, down by exit 28 on the Hartford Weathersfield line. And a little bump down by exit 25 S&M. Northbound 91, that moves well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound moving well, coming into downtown Farmington right out into Vernon. 291 through 84 okay, 2 eastbound moving well Glastonbury into Marlboro. 9 northbound delays Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 eastbound Waterbury delays as you move 17 to 18 up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. If you are heading toward New Haven, southbound on the Parkway, look out for an accident by exit 63 in North Haven. A little bit of a delay there. Southbound 95 slows New Haven 46 down to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
The rest of the afternoon and into the evening, we'll have a mix of clouds and sun. There'll be a thunderstorm in spots. Just took a look at the radar. Nothing on the radar thus far, but do watch out for that possible thunderstorm this evening. The high of 90. Warm and humid overnight. The clouds will be on the increase. The low only down to 74. Wednesday, variably cloudy, very humid, but not as warm. We'll have a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, the high of 81. Thursday, it'll be hot again, humid with partly sunny skies, the high up to 91. And Friday, a mix of clouds and sun, a thunderstorm in parts of the area. A hotter day, the high up to 95. Currently, 84 in New Haven, also 84 in Bridgeport. It's 86 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Hi, I'm Deb. With my Big Y Rewards, I get points when I shop to redeem for discounts on groceries and fuel.
I'm Jan, Deb's sister. With my Big Y Rewards, I get points when I shop to redeem for discounts on groceries and fuel.
Okay, but I said it first.
It's more than food. It's my Big Y Rewards.
Find what you love and love what you find at Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer and thousands of wines. Only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. B21.
I'm Brett Director from Connecticut Lighting Centers. Looking for a new ceiling fan? Connecticut Lighting Centers has you covered. Over 180 ceiling fans on display and hundreds in stock ready to go. From modern to classic, you'll find the perfect fan to complement any decor. Let our trained ceiling fan experts help you select the perfect fan for your home or business. Connecticut Lighting Centers with showrooms in Hartford and Southington or online at ctlighting.com featuring Hinkley.
Getting quality employees in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. It's the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It is your girl, Cammie. And I want you to know that when I listen to the radio, okay, I listen to Reese on the radio.
Woke up in the... No, I'm not going to do it.
Man, that beat's so tough, man.
Oh, it's just a loop of the Isley Brothers.
I know, but it
is the
simple things, man.
I know, it is simple. Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC, filling in for Todd Feinberg. We still got Fred on the line. Fred's in Middletown. Hello, Fred. You're on Reese on the Radio, sir.
Hey. So real quick on reading, isn't listening just so much easier? I mean,
I'm not going to lie. I love to listen. I love being read. I told you, I'm the original inventor of the audiobook, thanks to James Montgomery. I would give him the book, he'd read it, and he'd tell me everything in it.
Well, Tom's wife, Alice, she said half the reason she had kids is to have a captive audience to read to.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, there's people who, and I guess they drive around and she reads and he drives. Because someone asked him, did you read this? And he goes, in a fashion. And then he explained that Alice does the reading, he does the listening. Which kind of shows once you know that, because he's a real good listener, on the radio.
That's right.
So just that. I mean, some reading is good for your brain, obviously.
I think so.
I have what's called a lazy left eye, so I can't do a lot of reading before,
Stigmatism or just a lazy eye?
I'm not sure. I mean,
Okay.
it's a little, I don't know what that's all about. But in any event, conspiracies, if I was betting, I won't say I believe because, well, belief, but if God could tell us the truth, I would bet at least $100 that a bullet does not make Trump's ear bleed. Yeah, bullet, bleeding ear. But the fireman, yeah, no, he was really killed with a bullet.
Yeah,
and yeah, I would
that's
call
yes.
that little-
Yes, why wasn't the other people shot with shrapnel? It's just, again, it's absolutely, it's phenomenal, just the stuff that you hear in these events. But again, as you heard at the top of the hour, right? That's now the talking point, that this young man may have, according to a website, and that's the lead story. He may have had some anti-Semitic or anti-immigration, which is throwing people off the scent, right? That he may have been on both sides of the coin, right? He was anti-Semitic, so those are Trump, those are Biden's young supporters, and he may have been anti-immigration, which is very much the Trump area. So he may have been in the middle of the road here.
And by the by, they throw a kitchen sink in there.
Yeah, right.
I don't believe that character there that they've got set up, that young man, he was not there firing a gun at random.
Yeah.
There was, a professional side and, deep state. And then, look, they botched it on purpose. Like the little hangouts, like, for example, I'm a total 40 top reasons why the official story of 9/11 is bogus guy. So this is thing, it's been around, it came out a while ago, that Saudi Arabia may have funded the people who hijacked the planes and took down 3 buildings with 2 planes. So it's like, wait, Saudi Arabia funding, that's the basic lie. And another thing about this shooter was he had recently Googled the distance between Lee Harvey.
Yes, that was another one. I forgot about that one.
Thing. Yeah,
it's incredible. It's incredible, Fred. I give you that one. Thank you for the call, sir. I appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
So again, I knew it was going to happen as soon as he said it. I went, that will be the story that everyone goes with. And it's not based in any facts. In fact, he says it. He says there's no fact. There's nothing remotely that's a fact. This is a theory. And it's leading every news desk. How is that? when now we know that social media, which is now scrubbing any assassination attempt on Donald Trump, and now they're trying to spin it to this nonsense. And let me say something. The brilliance of Donald Trump when it comes to the media. Here's a guy, when everyone is thinking this guy is just rambling on for no reason, Donald Trump recognizes one thing. Everything he says is printable to the news media. They can't help themselves. So if Donald Trump says something about Hannibal Lecter, it becomes a news story. If Donald Trump says, wow, look at the pretty squirrel, someone will write about it. He understands everything that comes out of his mouth is printed. So what does he do after he finds out that the assassination attempt is being scrubbed? He puts out a social media post on Truth, and he attacks the outlets, the social media outlets, who are scrubbing the assassination attempt against him, which in fact causes the news media to write a story about the assassination attempt, which again subverts the social media campaign to scrub the story. You see how it works? He knows he's going to get the ink anyway. Doesn't matter where social media or Google will put it in there where you can't type in the assassination or they'll scrub it all together and they stand by their... It doesn't matter. Donald Trump knows how to go exactly around them, behind their back, and get it to the American people anyway, because he knows the insatiable media can't get enough. It's just who they are. It's brilliant. Rudy is in Florida. What's going on, Rudy?
Hey, you hear me now?
I got you, sir.
I had to say that. Everyone else says it. Am I on?
What's going on?
Man, some good callers before me, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Hey, what would you do if you went into your bunk and there was a candy bar there?
I don't know. If there's, I wouldn't eat it. I'm suspicious about candy. Like when I go to a hotel and they put a mint on your thing, I'm really suspicious about that.
I just thought about it because Lebo said he was in jail for 25 years in government control. And my boss likes to give people second chances.
Uh-huh.
And we have 2 cooks and a dishwasher that did, this is a sad story. The guy did 9 years. He robbed a bank.
Oh, wow.
Got $70,000, buried it in a field in the middle of nowhere where I live.
Mm-hmm.
And then the housing boom came during COVID, and they built a subdivision over it, and directly under a cement slab of a house. So he got out, kept his mouth shut, did his time, and he can't get the money.
That is
teasing one of the young kids.
That is crazy. That's, you know what? I don't care what anybody says. That's, for me, that's God working.
So he comes in one day and puts a Snicker bar down next to the kid working next to him on the kitchen line.
No, he didn't.
My manager goes, "Don't eat that. You don't want to know what happens if you eat that."
You're a knucklehead.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means. I've never heard that before in my life. So which one?
He said in prison, if you want a favor done, and there's a weaker guy that looks good to you, you put the candy bar down.
Oh, that's
and if he takes
okay. Now, all right, that's enough. I don't even need the. I'm a visual person. I do radio.
I got a theory about Camilla, and I
Go
know
for
a
it.
lot of this is blown up, the
Go ahead.
polls and all that stuff, but she's definitely going to take back a chunk of the vote that was walking away from Biden because of his health.
Indeed.
I don't know if it's enough. But
Indeed.
A lot of people were shocked at how sick Biden were, and they were like, I can't vote for him. I mean, you saw the polling, you saw the donations were
Mm-hmm.
drying up. Now, these people out there that would have either stayed home
Mm-hmm.
or left the ballot blank because of Biden,
Yeah.
they're now going to come out. It's going to be a closer race.
Yeah,
don't
but I
know
mean,
how she could win on policy.
But
as a result.
I look at this, you're right. Listen, and again, I think, and I'm going to talk a little bit about this James O'Keefe video where this guy works for the DNC. He's in, what department is he in? He is in the the compliance manager. That's what he is. He's a compliance manager for the DNC for the Biden-Harris campaign. So now he's in charge of Kamala Harris because Biden has dropped out. And he's talking about the donors, the amount of money that had dried up under Joe Biden, and why he's concerned that Kamala Harris needs to get that money or get more money from the donors. Here's what the rub is, Rudy, and I really do believe this, is that the reason why the news media has been raving about Kamala is to give confidence to the donors to put in money. That's why you're seeing this white dudes for Kamala, white women for Kamala. They're doing all of this fundraising stuff so they can build confidence with the donors, even though the voters are not interested. And here's an interesting play.
The gap's going to close.
Yeah.
I don't think he could lose in a debate. But if she gets the same rules as Biden, the microphone's off.
Yeah.
You don't interrupt all that. She could just think if they do as much as they did with Biden in the basement, if they keep her out of sight, out of mind, and it's going to close the gap.
I don't think so. Hear me out, Rudy. Hear me out. Listen. Here's why
she's going to win.
Here's why I'm
just
saying
that you can't sit on your laurels and think that it's going to be a blowout like it was.
I'm not suggesting that. I'm not suggesting that, but I will suggest this. Listen to this. These are New Yorkers, okay? A place where Kamala Harris is supposed to win, and they hate Donald Trump. Listen to what New Yorkers are saying.
We're here asking New Yorkers what her biggest achievement has been over the past 3.5 years as a vice president.
I don't know. That's kind of the whole issue about her.
Zero. No accomplishment. She corrupted the country like her partner, Joe Biden. I don't think she has a snowball's chance in hell to become president. She couldn't even win the primary in her own state.
I haven't seen her do much, to be honest. The Democratic Party is definitely going to have to start advertising what she can actually do for the country, because I don't think anyone knows.
I mean, with the whole Biden thing, I think all of us knew it was coming, right? It's been evident for the last how many years that he's not fit to be our president. Kamala's not any more fit to be our president either.
I love her. I hate that she has not able to show what she has done. I think immigration is still a little bit of a mess.
These are New Yorkers, Rudy. New Yorkers.
Yeah, I understand. I just don't think. I think it closed some of the gap. I mean, I said at the beginning of this call that you still can't account for results. While she was vice president in that administration, you still got terrible results with economy, wars overseas. I just think those people that were just going to sit this out because they can't vote for Trump and they'll vote for anyone but Trump.
Yeah.
There's too many people. I mean, you just had a caller after Lebo that would vote for a dog versus Trump.
I believe it.
So,
I believe it. I heard somebody today say that they would vote for a cockroach. And I'm sitting there going, okay, no offense, but I can't take you seriously. You think that that's some sort of moral play. I was like, I'd vote for a cockroach before I vote for Trump. And I'm just like, yes, dude, we get it. There are people out there who would waste their vote on a non-candidate. In fact, save yourself the cockroach vote and just vote for Cornel West. And just get out of our face.
But you did not see Cornel West, Stein, or RFK Jr.'s numbers go up when Biden fell on his face.
Exactly.
Before he resigned.
Exactly.
So you're going to see people come out of the woodwork now. There's too many people in this country that hate Trump. I mean, I don't think you're right on that one. I really don't. I know you think that is, and I think that illusion has been played out for a long time for a lot of people, and I think that illusion is sort of given, like, I believe that the illusion has become so palpable that people think it's real. I think that's bogus. I just think it's going to be tight in the swing states, much tighter than if Biden had stayed in the race, and it's going to be interesting, and it's going to get ugly now.
Oh, I know. No. Interesting, yes. Ugly, probably for Kamala. I think this is an opportunity to really. I'm sorry. I believe. I still stand by it. This is an opportunity.
On J.D. Vance like a piñata at a party.
Nope. In fact, his approval, his favorability is higher than that of Kamala Harris, regardless of what you're hearing.
I'm talking about the media and the Democrats. I'm not talking about.
Oh, that doesn't mean it. But Rudy, with all due respect, the media. I know what the media is doing. The media is listen. The media is a fake place, dude. It's like Twitter. It's a fake place.
Yeah, but 80% of voters on both sides of the aisle still believe the media. I mean, if I open up a blog and say President Trump is the military leader of this country right now, there's people on our side that believe that.
Okay.
I mean,
Rudy,
80% of the country has to be told what to do.
Again, I really do believe that. Again, I know that people want to believe that, but I think that a lot of that is nonsense. But like I said, to each his own. I hear you, boss. I disagree with you. That's all it is. But I love you nonetheless. Thanks.
Snickers or a Kit Kat bar?
Get out of here. Goodbye. Hey, I want to give a shout out to Bun. I want to get out to Bun Burton. I was just told that I must give you a shout out or I will lose a fan forever. No, I'm kidding. Bun, if you're listening out here, just I want to show you some love. Thank you for checking out the show. The cute one told me to give you a shout out, Bun. That's a cute name, by the way. I've had different names for what was the one that I loved. Somebody used to call me Head Cheese. I don't know why. She was a Greek girl, but she used to refer to me as Head Cheese. I don't know why. I still don't. That was my nickname. It's really, really bad. It's just a horrible name. Horrible name. We'll get to Joe in New Hampshire in a little bit. Joe, stay on the line and we'll get back to you. We're about to come up on the 4:30 break. At 5 o'clock, the 5 o'clock focus. The 5 o'clock focus is answering a very simple question. Don't call in until 5 o'clock, till after the BPS traffic center. But the 5 o'clock focus, would you allow your babysitter or your child care worker to take your young child in a car to drive around and do errands? No matter what the case is, you have a child care provider. Now, some people will take their children to the child care provider's home, or the child care provider will come to the home. And I'm using term babysitter and child care provider as the same thing. So I say child care provider. Would you allow them to drive your young child around in their car? I'll give you a breakdown of the story that was in the Hartford Courant. You all know it. And whether or not mothers, I want to talk to you primarily, whether or not you would do that. Let's go to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Mark, do you have young children?
Well, no, my son is 15. He's going to be 16 next week.
Okay, now, were you like me and Roland, who were, helicopter dads, where you wouldn't let anybody near your child? I think Roland said that before anyone would come near his daughter, they had to bow down and praise her as the deity she is.
I like that, Roland. That's a good policy as far as I'm concerned.
Were you very protective? Like you wouldn't let anybody unless it was a close family member, maybe grandma or grandpa, be able to take them someplace outside your home on their own?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't do like a child care provider wouldn't have the opportunity to take your child anywhere.
Well, my main child care provider was his aunt. So yeah.
Okay.
She was very
close to the family.
Yeah. So
okay, that's interesting.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So yeah. Well, you got to be protective.
Yeah, I think, again, I don't think it's unreasonable for you to say, like, look, this is where you watch the child, you don't leave.
Right, exactly. You got to lay the ground rules down.
Exactly.
Of course, I tried laying the ground rules down with him, and of course.
Oh, yeah, well, there you go.
He listens too much anymore to me, but I tried. I really did. I really tried. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, Reese, the southbound side of I-91, you're going to see some slow traffic now as you move from exit 33 Jennings Road down to the 84 merge, and then you're tight again as you move from exit 27 down to exit 25 S&N. Got some emergency road work down by 25 S&N in the left lane, just south of exit 25 N down to between 25N and 24. Once again, left lane is blocked there. So that's a slowdown there. If you are traveling in the northbound side of 91, that moves well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 tight up approaching the Bulky Bridge up to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, you're running slow 46 up to 48 Capitol Avenue. 291 through 84, that looks good east of the river. 2 eastbound's okay, Glastonbury to Marlboro. If you're heading toward Middletown, 9 northbound delays Harbor Park to the Aragodi Bridge. 84 eastbound, Waterbury slowing by 18. Heading into New Haven, 95 southbound, you've got slow traffic 46 to 44. Look out for an accident southbound on the Parkway by 63. Delays pushing back toward exit 64 in Wallingford behind that. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
And now, a WTIC news update.
86 degrees at 4:30. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. That forecast low 70s tonight, highs in the low 80s tomorrow. Police say a threat to the state capitol made this afternoon is believed to be a hoax. It was a social media post that made a non-specific threat. A search of the campus turned up nothing, according to the state capitol police, who say they're working with the FBI to trace the origin. The state legislature is not in session, but the capitol includes executive branch offices, including the governor's. Ronald Rowe, the acting director of the Secret Service, tells senators he's ashamed the rooftop wasn't secured in Butler, Pennsylvania. That's where a would-be assassin took aim at Donald Trump. At the same hearing, FBI Deputy Director Paul Abate said the shooter planned ahead.
On July 3rd, the rally in Butler, Pennsylvania was announced. On July 6th, the shooter registered to attend the rally and performed a search for, quote, how far was Oswald from Kennedy? On July 7th, the shooter traveled from his home to the Butler Farm Show grounds and remained there for approximately 20 minutes. We assess this shows advanced planning and reconnaissance.
Rowe blames local police for not circulating urgent information before the shooting and for not adequately protecting the scene. And arguments about politics led to a domestic assault, according to police in Ledyard. They responded to a home midday today for a domestic disturbance. Police say 44-year-old Alex Hueso was arguing about politics when a female victim says he began to yell and scream. The victim told Hueso he was acting crazy, at which point the suspect dumped a large jug of fruit punch on her, then threw the bottle, striking her in the forehead. Hueso is charged with disorderly conduct and held on $5,000 bond. He'll be in court tomorrow. Meta, the company that owns Facebook, agrees to a $1.4 billion settlement with Texas. That's in a privacy lawsuit over Meta's use of biometric data. The Texas state law prohibits the capture or sale of biometric information, such as facial images or fingerprints, without users' consent. CBS News tech contributor Ian Scher.
One of the key questions here is whether or not the settlement amount is enough for Meta to change the way it thinks. $1.4 billion is a lot of money. But for these massive tech companies who pull in billions of dollars in profit every year, it's worth asking whether or not the government's fines are enough to actually force change, or if they're just seen as the cost of doing business.
An important Olympics update coming up first. The closing bell report brought to you by Bouvier Insurance. The Dow up 203. S&P dropped 27. The NASDAQ dropped 223. Sports, Red Sox and Mariners. Pregame at 6:10 on WTIC. Yankees at Philly. Mets home for Minnesota. Here's that Olympic update. The USA women won the gold medal in the team gymnastics final. Men's soccer, the U.S. beat Guinea 3-0. The Americans advanced to the quarterfinals for the first time since 2000. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
Retirement can be scary, but only if you're not prepared.
1 minute.
AARP created thisispretirement.org because unless you've already retired, you're in pretirement and you still have time to plan. Learn about retirement savings options, potential tax breaks, and how you can build savings over time. Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize
Okay,
your
I have
action
enough
plan
time for
and
this.
feel the retirement
This
fear
ought to be good.
disappear. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Do you feel like you're going through life clouded by
By the way, did you see Deadpool yet?
Talk to California psychics. Our trusted and accurate psychics are available 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life,
Oh, no, I'm supposed to see it tonight, but that ain't gonna happen either because I got some other shit to do.
CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers get 80% off their first reading. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we're back. I promised at the beginning of the show that I was going to give my Deadpool review, but I've only got 2 minutes to give it now, so I might as well do it right now, okay? Deadpool and Wolverine, probably one of the most anticipated movies in a couple of years because Marvel has sucked since Endgame. And when was that, 2018? So it's been straight garbage with the exception of the Spider-Man films, which I happen to love. I like Tom Holland. I like him as Spider-Man. Like him better than Tobey Maguire. Like him better than Andrew Garfield. So Ryan Reynolds has really done the Marvel franchise some good by doing this movie. It's funny. It's typecasting. Yes, it's the same character over and over again. And the objective is for him to find funnier ways to do this particular role. I like Deadpool. I was anticipating them bringing Wolverine and him together since there's always been this anticipation of them getting there. And they did. And I was thoroughly disappointed. I'm sorry. A lot of people are going to like this movie. Many people will enjoy it. In fact, they'll force themselves to say to everybody else, man, it was great. No, it wasn't. It was okay. The chemistry between the two of them, not good. It was at best. With everything that we've seen of, they have better chemistry as Ryan Reynolds as Hugh and Hugh Jackman than they did as Deadpool and Wolverine. They have better chemistry as real people than they did in the movie. It felt forced, and I don't care what anyone says. These cameos were garbage, except for one. One cameo was the best, and when I saw him in the cameo scene, when you see it, even you will go, oh, snap, because it was that good. Everyone else didn't care, did not care. It was par for the most part. Anyway, the part that really angered me is the fact that in the same opening weekend, Marvel, Kevin Feige, and the Russo brothers come out at Comic-Con and introduce Robert Downey Jr. returning to the Marvel Universe as Dr. Doom, probably the most important villain of our time. Robert Downey Jr. is coming back. It took all the wind out of this weekend's premiere of Deadpool and Wolverine. Now anyone who's anyone is talking about Robert Downey Jr. and not the Deadpool movie, which to me is nothing more than a slap in the face to the Deadpool franchise. Why would you do it on the same weekend? Wait until the last day of Comic-Con to reveal that. At least let the guys get some, wind underneath them. But no one cares now. Only people care about is the guy who pretty much ended the Marvel careers of everybody who was in Marvel is now being returned to save it. Because even if Ryan Reynolds was going to, that's a bust and no one cares because Robert Downey Jr. is back. That, to me, was a complete disrespect. And it actually lends to the fact that no one will really care whether or not Deadpool and Wolverine is a good movie afterwards because all they care about is Robert Downey Jr. coming back. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, let's get to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Did we forget about him? Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese. Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you and good afternoon, everyone. And if you're heading on the southbound side of I-91, look for delays in Hartford 33. Down to 32 A and B, and then you're back in some stop and go again, approaching 28 down to between 25N and 24. Weathersfield, Rocky Hill line, emergency road work in the left lane. Stay right. Northbound 91 moves well, Rocky Hill through downtown up into Windsor. Now, if you're on the westbound side of 84, delays approaching the Bulkley Bridge to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, you're slowing, approaching 46 Sisson Avenue to the Bulkley Bridge. 291 through 84, looking good east of the river. 2 eastbound's okay, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound, slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 eastbound, Waterbury slowing by 18. If you are traveling on the
Robin, my bad, I just saw that.
In New Haven from 46 down to 44, an accident. Southbound Parkway by 63 in North Haven, delays.
No, Rama, that is not who I'm talking about.
Together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
It'll be a warm and humid night with increasing clouds.
I was not. That did. For some odd reason, that wasn't. Nope.
Variably cloudy Wednesday.
That wasn't the one.
Humid, but not as warm. We'll have a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. The high of 81. Then for Thursday, warmer, a hot day with partly sunny skies. Humid, the high of 91. Friday, clouds and sun. A thunderstorm in parts of the area. Hot and humid again. the high of 95 on Friday. Currently Bristol at 85. It is 81 in Waterbury and Hartford at 84. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
At the Carter Mario Law Firm, we've recovered over $1 billion for injured people. When you need someone to fight for you, you need to get Carter in your corner. Visit getcarter.com or call us at 877-GET-CARTER.
Find what you love and love what you find at Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer and thousands of wines. Only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. B21.
Technological advances speed all things up, including dental care. Columbia Implant Center in Manchester takes full advantage of this technology to bring better, faster service and better results in one day, the same day, 7 days a week. We have the specialists, the facility, and the technological expertise to provide and complete the treatment today. Call Columbia Implant Center at 860-730-6020 or visit ColumbiaImplantCenter.com.
What if I told you your home movie past their prime? It's true. The magnetic tape used in VHS and camcorder tapes only lasts between 10 to 20 years.
We still got Joe?
Baby's first steps.
Yep, you got a couple more.
Okay. Are fading away as we speak. Digitizing your old media with Legacy Box stops this fading process in its tracks. And by preserving your recordings, they're safe forever. Legacy Box is simply the best way to preserve your past, which is why they've been trusted by over 1 million families. Your memories are meant to be shared, not chewed up by the VCR or worn away with time. For a limited time, you can convert your tapes to digital for just $9 a tape. There's never been a better time to convert your entire collection. That includes film reels and photos too. Visit legacybox.com/value to get our $9 sale. That's legacybox.com/value to unlock our $9 offer. Legacybox.com/value.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we are back. Chat room filling up. Johnny in the house. Rama's in the house. Yeah, it wasn't that cameo Rama that I was talking about with the Deadpool movie. This one was this one's more personal. This particular cameo was a lot more personal to the movie. And the actors in it. But that's the reason why I was like, wow, couldn't believe that they were there. Because I knew the backstory, so it was amazing. Johnny is not a fan of the superhero movies. I get it. It's a boy thing. It's a boy thing. My wife makes fun of me too. She was like, "You're such a boy." I'm like, "Yeah, of course." I'm such a boy. Let's get to the phones, folks. Joe is in New Hampshire. Hello, Joe. You want me to Reese on the Radio?
Hello, Reverend.
How you doing, sir? Hey.
Yeah, I have a few things I'd like to get through, but the first one is a strong suggestion for you. I think it would really help your show when you're on.
Talk to me.
Lead-in song. Al Wilson, The Snake from 1968. That's the Trump poem, but
yeah.
Recites that song almost word for word. I played it on my stereo the other night. It's a good song, and you could take a portion of it for a lead-in for your show.
Okay.
And it would be relevant to what's going on with Trump.
Okay, you got it. I will definitely look into that. So we're doing a different thing on the intro. It's something I just want to try out and see what it sounds like. I actually like the way it played out today. But yeah, I'll totally consider it. Absolutely. And thank you for that. So what was the other thing you wanted to get into?
Well, two other things. I tell you about the market, and I'm a shorter. Well,
right.
Microsoft today came out with their earnings at 4 o'clock at the close, and they were bad. And the stocks tanked. The market's going to be bad tomorrow. Meta comes out with their earnings after the close tomorrow. It was on your news report. They just agreed to pay out $1.4 billion for nefarious activity.
That's right.
And
Perfect
that's
short.
in their forward guidance. That'll be in their forward guidance tomorrow.
Mhm.
That's going to tank.
Yeah.
I think the beginning of the market tanking has really started yesterday, and you'll see it in the aftermarket today. And for all the viewers that say, well, how do I short the market? Just buy the stock UVIX. That's the S&P 500 shorting the overall market. It's a stock. And it closed today around $6.50 a share. It was only $4.50 a share last week.
That's a reasonable stock to buy. at that
yeah,
price.
UVIX. It's
Yeah.
Shorting the S&P 500 2.5 times, and it's a stock. It doesn't have a time value where it'll expire like an option. So it's around $6.50 a share right now in the aftermarket. But I would jump on that before the market opens tomorrow, because I think that'll be up to 50-55 by October.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Joe, real quick. Why don't guys like Kramer, Joe, what's his name, Jim Kramer? Why don't they ever talk about the shorts? Because he's the worst. I'm sorry. I watched this guy get it wrong every single time. Why does he never play the shorts?
Well, he should have been fired back in 2008 when that bank stock.
I'll never forget it.
And he told everybody to hang in there. The stock was down to like $9 a share. He said, hang in there, hang in there. A week later, it was $1 a share, and it was bankrupt. And people lost a lot of money because
Sure did.
And I think he had about a 4-week vacation, but he came back, and he wasn't held accountable for that.
Nope, never
Stearns,
even
it was
apologized.
Bear Stearns. Yeah, it was Bear Stearns.
Mm-hmm.
And he was never held accountable. And then the last thing I wanted to get through, conspiracy theories about the Trump assassination.
Yeah.
Those FBI agents that were involved out in Michigan with the governor of Michigan, they were finding people.
Right. It was a whole, it was a luring campaign to get people involved with the kidnapping of Gretchen Whitmer.
Yeah, so is it far-fetched to think, I'm not saying this is what happened, but just throw it out there as one of the considerations. This 20-year-old was recruited by some agent from the FBI because they already knew where he was with his texting and stuff.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So they found him to be a suitable recruit for that rally. The Secret Service, very lax, deliberately lax. And they just told him, don't worry, you can get up on that roof. No one's going to stop you, and do your thing. What they didn't tell him was they weren't going to have a Jack Ruby visit him later when he was in jail. They would take him out. The second he shot Trump, they would take him out, and there would be no testimony or evidence on his part.
Which
that would
is
be a very neat conspiracy.
It's such a good, listen to me. The only reason why what you just said has an ounce of credibility, the only reason why is because to see that deputy director make that comment about a Facebook post or a social media post that he can't confirm, to throw that dirt out there and then have every media outlet report on it at length. It's with everything that happened during this hearing today, to grab that little snippet to talk about anti-Semitism and anti-immigration and let that be the lead story. If that doesn't tell you we're being duped, I don't know what was. It was literally of no the exchange between the Secret Service acting director and Josh Hawley was far more explosive than anything else we heard, and it's not even there.
I was shocked that Josh Hawley, or somebody that's more forward on their questioning, didn't throw out there, you have this kid's phone, and we have to trust you with checking it out and telling us what's on it after you had Hunter Biden's laptop and said it was disinformation.
Didn't even think of that.
How can we trust you? And nobody threw that out at them today. They
That's
had a
such a good
chance
point.
to do that.
That's such a good point. Joe, I don't know what to tell you, my friend. You've completely blown it open. I appreciate you,
I'll be
bud.
looking forward to the snake.
I will check it out. In fact, I just timestamped this to make sure I remind myself. Thank you, sir. Let's go to another great caller. Joe is in Simsbury. Hello, Joe. You're on Reese On The Radio.
Hi, Reese. I'd like to also talk about conspiracy theories because I'm one of the people who calls in quite frequently with conspiracy theories. I would honestly say that my conspiracy theory success rate is somewhere over 90%.
Not bad.
And the reason that my conspiracy theory success rate is over 90% is because I look at a bunch of different sources that are legitimate sources before I come out with my conspiracy theory. And I've always felt that conspiracy theories, most of them are actually spoiler alerts. The fact
I like
that
that.
is that there is almost no greater test of someone's ability to discern information, to evaluate information, and not be labeled an imbecile than evaluating a conspiracy theory. And I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Joe just gave one. The voting situation. I'm saying, I've always said that the election was stolen from Donald Trump. And there are people listening saying, oh, the courts never found anything. This was never proven.
Exactly.
Blah, blah, blah. But every single day almost, there's something that is posted on it, usually on a Substack in the internet.
That's right.
That is an actual document that is an actual document that's occurring right now in 2024 that you have to really be someone who doesn't have the ability, again, to discern information to not see what happened. And I'll give you a couple of examples. 2 states. Georgia.
I knew you were going to say it.
Has major issues where, oh, yeah, we can't find these votes that were
360,000 unverified ballots without verifiable signatures.
Not only that, places where they've been able to identify thousands of people voting from the same address, which happens to be an apartment.
That's right.
Now, for those people who sit there and, like I was just saying, they say, well, the courts never found anything. That shows that you've got an inability to think.
That's right.
Because part of the conspiracy theory is the courts don't want to find something.
That's right.
You have to use your own brains. Arizona, right now.
That's right.
They have found almost 1 million unverified ballots. They have found issues with illegal immigrants voting that should not be voting.
What was the percentage of that, Joe? Joe, what was it? Hold on, before you go on. What was the percentage of the illegals? Was that the one that had 20% or less than?
I think it was 20%.
Yeah, I think it was 20%. Okay, I know this story.
It's a staggering number. And for that to come out 4 years later and have proof of that actually occurring, to then say, oh, no, this was a clean election. Somebody told me that. It's like, folks, I'm sorry. You got a problem. It's a problem I can't solve for you. And I'm sure it's much deeper than any conspiracy theory. It's the inability to look at a fact.
That's
and
it.
say, oh, my God, that is not acceptable. I could see why people would think that there is a problem with our voting. And that leads me to the big issue. And that is, and I'm going to go conspiracy theory rather than just talk about ones we've already talked about. Venezuela.
Oh, yeah.
And the rioting that's going on now in Venezuela, because those people knew they did not want him. Their communities knew for a fact that they hated this guy, that people were not going to vote for him, and he cleaned the clock of the opponent. And these people are now fighting back, and the U.S., the media here does not want us to really focus on that.
Oh, they don't even want us to know.
We're not going to take it again.
They don't want us to know. Not only do they
was stolen.
They don't even know. They don't want us to know that not only the election was being stolen, they don't want us to know that the military was told to pretty much quell the rioters. Many of the people in the military took off their uniforms and joined in. They don't even want that to.
And you know something? Someone will say, "Well, they'd have to prove it." It's like, I'm sorry, folks. You can prove it just by talking to people, talk to your neighbors, talk to your friends. You know what is going on, and then you see this kind of stuff occurring. They did not want him in Venezuela.
That's right.
And Kamala, unless something happens with Trump, which is a great possibility.
Strong likelihood.
Unfortunately, there's no way that she wins. I'm sorry. The damage that she has created thus far for her own brand, and her own positive name recognition is not surmountable against Trump unless this economy was doing well, people were making money.
That's right.
Restaurants in Connecticut were not closing, because of inflation,
everywhere,
which is the front page of the paper today. And everyone was like, hey, things are great. Yeah, we don't have to worry. The Ukraine thing is over. No one's voting for her.
Yeah.
Only the mentally ill are going to vote for her.
Joe, let me move on. I got to get one more, man. Thank you for the call, man. I always appreciate you, man. I knew it was going to be a good call. It's hard to cut him off when he's on a roll because I got to let him cook sometimes. Let's get into Ken in Westfield. Hello, Ken. You are Reese on the Radio on the Todd Feinberg Show.
Hello, Reese. Thank you for putting me on. I just want to get the other side, give you the other side, and have people listen to the other side of the argument.
Let's go.
I'm a progressive.
Okay.
I was a Bernie Sanders supporter in 2016.
Okay.
Still love him very much. Anyway, was not a Hillary Clinton fan. Didn't like her.
You shouldn't have been after what they did to Bernie.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. So, I'm just so confused. I'm always very confused. But that's why I wanted to come on and speak with you, because I cannot understand how people are supporting Donald Trump. Every time I talk, I listen to his own interviews. He's not intelligent. He's a very dumb person. Second of all, he wants to create a dictatorship. He's told people, "Oh, you can vote for this election, but you don't have to. When I get into office, you won't have to vote anymore."
Mm-hmm.
He
said the problem would be solved. You'll never have to vote again and that's the quote, isn't it? The problem will be solved. You won't have to vote on that anymore.
Why would you not vote? Why would you not have to vote again?
Meaning, because the problem, if it was a voting issue, hear me out, Ken. If it's a voting issue and it keeps coming up, you have to keep voting to keep that issue from being struck down. So he says, once it's done, we'll fix it so you'll never have to vote again. Meaning you'll never have to vote on that issue again. That's clearly what he said. But I get your point. You said that he would be a dictator, right? You believe that he would be a dictator.
He definitely would be.
And
look at the people who he emulates.
Mm-hmm.
Putin and Xi and
wait. When is he?
When did he? Turkish dictator, the Hungarian
when did he? When's this whole thing with the dictators? He wishes to be like them.
Listen to his quotes.
I do.
He absolutely loves these guys and emulates.
Loves them
and idolizes these guys. And he, when he says that President Xi or Chairman Xi or whatever he is in China, he is in charge. He himself is in charge of a billion people. Boy, that's the way to go. Or that's fantastic. Something along those lines.
Well, Ken, I would ask you in the future, okay? Because and I'm hoping you will call back tomorrow. You and I are going to have a very, very long conversation about everything you just said. I want to hear from you. I promise you. Please call me back. Roland will make sure he gets your information now, and I want you on the phone with me tomorrow so we can break all this down. I think you're going to be a fantastic call for this show. Let's get to the BPS Traffic Center with our good friend Mark Christopher. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading on the westbound side of I-84, look for delays in East Hartford approaching the Bulkhead Bridge out to 47 Sigourney Street. Eastbound side of 84, you got delays from 44 up.
I should have saved him. I should have saved him from the beginning.
Delays 33 down to 32 A and B, and again 27 down to 28 on the Hartford Weathersfield line. If you are traveling on the northbound side of 91, that looks good. Cromwell through downtown up in Windsor, 291 through 84, okay, east of the river. 2 eastbound moving well, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound delays, Harbor Park to the Aragodi Bridge in Middletown. 9 northbound also slowing, getting by exit 32 in Berlin. Westbound 84, Waterbury slowing 23 to 22. If you are traveling 84 eastbound in Danbury, tight by exit 3. South 95 New Haven, you're running slow 48 down to 43 in West Haven. 91 southbound delays from exit 3 down in toward the 95 interchange in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC. For the rest of the afternoon, a mix of clouds and sun, but a thunderstorm in parts of the area. Humid and warmer with the high up to 88. Then tonight, still warm and humid with increasing clouds, the low down to 74. For Wednesday, variably cloudy, very humid, but not as warm with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, the high of 81. Then Thursday, warmer with partly sunny skies, the high up to 91. Friday, clouds and sun, a thunderstorm in parts of the area. It'll be hot and humid, the high of 95. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Hey, baseball fans, you can win tickets to a Boston game with the Thomaston Savings Bank Player of the Game contest. Just listen when we announce the Player of the Game during the 7th inning stretch. That'd be during the break in the middle of the 7th inning during every game broadcast on WTIC. Then tune in to Brian and Company the following morning at 8:10. Know the Player of the Game? Be the correct caller and you'll win a pair of tickets to an upcoming game in Boston. It's the Thomaston Savings Bank Player of the Game contest, only on WTIC. News Talk 1080. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080. Don't miss out on important updates in Connecticut. From breaking need-to-know news, weather alerts, and more. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app now. WTIC is 99 and kicks off a year-long celebration to 100 years on the air. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
86 degrees, 5 o'clock. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. Low 70s tonight, highs in the low 80s tomorrow. The acting director of the Secret Service says there's no defense for the fact the rooftop used in the attempted assassination in Butler, Pennsylvania went unsecured.
Ronald Rowe says he went to the Pennsylvania site, climbed on the roof, and laid in the shooter's position.
What I saw made me ashamed.
As a former protective detail agent,
I cannot defend why that roof was not better secured.
Rowe told two Senate panels while his agency failed, he's also troubled local law enforcement never reported seeing a gunman on the roof before the shooting.
We didn't know that there was this incident going on.
The FBI is also sharing new details about the shooter, saying a social media account believed associated with him supported political violence and extreme views. Sagar Meghani at the White House.
The Senate overwhelmingly passes the Kids Online Safety Act, sponsored by Senator Richard Blumenthal. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says the House should pass it so the president can sign it.
It strengthens privacy protections, bans targeted advertising to children, and demands tech companies stop collecting personal data on our children.
Funding approved for a renovation center. The Capital Region Development Authority's board signs off on the $145 million project. It will include improvements to seating, the concourse, and of course locker rooms for the teams. They should be done by early 2026. The building will remain open as the work is done. Police say a threat to the state capitol made this afternoon is believed to be a hoax. It was a social media post that made a non-specific threat. The search of the campus turned up nothing, according to State Capitol Police. They say they're working with the FBI to trace the origin. Police in Naugatuck are working the case after bomb threats were received at two stores yesterday. More from WTIC's John Silva.
The first call came into the Walmart on New Haven Road just before 4 p.m. A caller said a bomb was located in a bathroom set to detonate in 2 minutes. The store was evacuated and a sweep was conducted using bomb-sniffing dogs. No explosives were found and the all clear was given around 5 p.m. Now, as police were at that scene, an employee at a Stop and Shop on Rubber Avenue reported receiving a similar threat that a bomb was in a bathroom. Police swept that store. No explosives were found there either. There's no word on whether the incidents are in any way related. John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Late results from Paris in just a few minutes. First, this report from the Summer Games, sponsored by Middlesex Health, the smarter choice for care.
CBS Summer Games. Here's Wendy Gillette.
The 5 members of the U.S. men's gymnastics team are celebrating their bronze, the first time the American men have medaled in the Olympics since 2008. Frederick Richard had the team's best score on high bar.
I think a lot of young boys watching are inspired by us, and that makes me really happy.
Brody Malone hit all 5 of his routines after a rough qualifying round.
Our goal today was just to hit sets, and we hit 18 for 18.
Asher Hong had the 5th highest vault score of the day. Pommel horse specialist Stephen Nedorozic delivered, and Paul Judah nailed his 4 events, grateful for the support of a crowd filled with Americans.
The crowd chanting USA is invigorating, and you can't ask for a better feeling than that.
Judah and Richard will compete in the all-around competition tomorrow. I'm Wendy Gillette at the Summer Games in Paris, CBS News.
Home ownership. At Progressive, we know it's part of the American dream. It's the land of the free and the home of student drivers ready to back into your new fence at any given time. It's firing up a round of burgers and dogs on your rusty grill with a faulty gas line that engulfs your tool shed in flames. It's also around-the-clock protection when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, which can help keep the American dream of home ownership alive and kicking. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Available in all states.
Closing bell report brought to you by Bouvier Insurance. The Dow is up 203. The S&P dropped 27. The NASDAQ was down 223. At the Olympics, the USA women win the gold medal in the team gymnastics final. Men's soccer, the U.S. beat Guinea 3-0. The Americans advanced to the quarterfinals. Red Sox and Mariners pregame at 6:10 on WTIC. Yankees at the Phillies, the Mets hosting the Twins. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
Oh, a minute.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain.
Yeah,
Now, call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio. Filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's the 5 o'clock focus. It's the 5 o'clock focus. Come on, man. Focus already.
Oh, I cannot believe it. I just lost my headphones. Oh, that was bad. I just lost my headphones. And my volume is screeching right now, so I have to turn that down. Forgive me, I gotta put my headphones on here so I can hear. I have no idea what just happened. I have to fix them now. That was weird. Anyway, as the big voice said, Reese on the Radio, NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. We're going to, I guess, get into what the 5 o'clock focus is. Listen closely to this story real quick. Maria Santiago is a 55-year-old woman who was, I guess, driving in a car in Westbrook, and she's been charged with 4 counts of risk of injury to a minor and a single count of failure to apply a child restraint system, according to the Connecticut State Police. Now, in essence, what she was doing was driving around with kids in the car, and a 2-year-old in the car was not secured, and he opened up the car door, fell out, and her vehicle ended up running over him. He sustained very serious injuries. And it got me to thinking, if I have a child care provider, this was not the child's mother. If I had a child care provider, would I want them driving around the city or in the neighborhoods with my child in the car with them? And I asked my wife, she says, no, that you bring it in a whole different element into the child care. Because now you don't just have to worry about the risk of them being in the home of that person or being in your home. Now they're out in the elements driving in a car. So my question to the ladies, or maybe even the dads, if your child care provider is watching your child, would you be okay with that person driving your child in a car under any circumstances? Or would you say, no, you're here to stay in my house or they're to stay in your house and there's no driving whatsoever? And at what point or who, like what kind of relationship do you have to have with your child care provider before you do something like that? That's my question. So give us a call, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Let's get to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. If you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound side of 91, look for some slow traffic between exit 36 and 35 in Windsor. Again, you're tight 33 down to 32 A and B. More delays 27 down to 28 on the Hartford-Wethersfield line. Now, if you're on the northbound side of I-91, that moves well as you move Cromwell through downtown up into the Windsor exits. Westbound 84 tied up East Hartford, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound slowing, approaching 46th Avenue to the Bulkley Bridge. 291 through 84 looks good east of the river. 2 eastbound's okay, Glastonbury into Marlboro. 9 northbound delays Harbor Park to the Aragoni. If you're traveling 84 eastbound Waterbury, some slow traffic by 18. 84 westbound slowing by 25A in Waterbury. Heading into New Haven right now, 95 southbound delays 48 to 44. 91 southbound, you're tight from 3 down in toward the 95 interchange. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather. All right, as we head through the rest of the evening here, it's going to be warm and humid with increasing clouds. The low overnight only down to 74. Then as we head through Wednesday, variably cloudy, couple of showers and a thunderstorm. Warm and very humid for us, the high of 82. Thursday, warmer with partly sunny skies. It'll be a hot and humid day, the high up to 91. Friday, clouds and sun, a thunderstorm in the area, quite warm and humid, the high of 89. And Saturday, cloudy, hot and humid with a thunderstorm in a couple of spots. The high on Saturday up to 92. Currently, it is 85 in Bristol, it is 82 in New Haven, and it's 84 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on the WTIC Weather Center.
Don't just live with foot pain. Find the Good Feet store nearest you at goodfeet.com.
ProHealth Physicians has proudly been keeping Connecticut healthy for nearly 25 years. ProHealth accepts Husky Medicaid, Medicare, TRICARE, and most major insurances. For trusted local care for your whole family, call 1-855-CT-MD-411 or visit ProHealthMD.com.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
Paid for by government. Did you hear? Board of 1904 $20 gold Liberty coins have been found. These gorgeous 1904
I had to put on my
gold coins
headphones
are as bright
now
and shiny
because
as
I
the day they
completely
were
ripped
struck,
my
and
earpiece.
less than 500 of these gold coins.
How you do that?
I sat on it.
Oh, man.
A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you can own a piece of the hoard. When you call, you are guaranteed a 1904 Gold Liberty.
I know I have
struck at
another
the
one around
iconic
here
Philadelphia
somewhere.
Mint. With limited availability, you must call now. These 1904 dated gold coins are still in uncirculated condition with brilliant luster. That is 120 years of...
Got full lines, too.
That's good. I expected it.
1-800-973-3077. Call now, and you'll receive a free bonus, a $75 value free with every order. Call 1-800.
All right, in 10.
3077 now to secure your 1904p $20 Gold Liberty coins before they sell out. That's 1-800-973-3077.
It's the 5 o'clock focus. It's the 5 o'clock focus. Come on, man. Focus already.
So, again, 5 o'clock focus, News Talk 1080 WTIC. A woman is facing felony charges after state police say she drove with a 2-year-old child without any kind of seatbelt or a booster seat in Clinton back in May, and the boy opened the car door and fell out, suffering serious injuries after he was run over by the vehicle he was in. Now, Miss Santiago, who's 55 years old, of Clinton, turned herself in at Westbrook on 4 counts of risk of injury to a minor and a single count of failure. I only talk about this because I've got a good friend, Apple is her name, and she has had a live-in nanny, Rebecca, and we're all family, so I'm not telling any tales out of school. Now, Apple taught Rebecca how to drive, and Rebecca made enough money working as a nanny and working on another job where she bought her first car. Apple helped her buy her first car. And when Apple helped her or taught her how to drive when she got her first car, Apple wisely said, let me put these yellow stickers on her car that say student driver, be patient. She did that all over her little red, little Element looking car. I can't remember what kind of car it was. But anyway, it looked like an Element, but a smaller version of it. I know it was a Kia. Anyway, she was a red car with these yellow stickers all around it. Looked like a crash test dummy's car. And I remember coming over to see Apple one day, whatever the thing was, and I was showing up, and the kids came running down the stairs. The kids came down, they were like, hey, Reese. I was like, hey, Abby. Hey, Reese. Hey, Gunner. Where are you guys going? We're going to Rebecca to some bouncy jumping house, whatever the case is. And I'm like, oh. And Rebecca comes out, and the kids pile into the car. and they drive off. It couldn't have been weeks after Rebecca got her driver's license, and her two beautiful kids are jumping in a car with a novice to go only a mile or two away, but they were driving in the car with her after she had just gotten her license. And the first thing that ran into my mind was, not my babies. I love you, and you're a part of this family, but you just learned to drive. I'm not putting you in a car with these kids. No, I'm not putting my kids in your car. Now, people might find that offensive. That's ironically Apple's calling right now. I'm like, I'm just saying I wouldn't do it, but she did it. So I give her credit. You know, kids are fine. Don't get me wrong. Rebecca's a great person, a great driver. But I was like, hell no, I wouldn't do that. Just because, as I asked my wife, it invites another element of danger to the whole babysitting, child caregiving thing. So what would you do? Would you ever allow it? What are the circumstances? Does it have to be a close family member you can trust? Or would you ever put a child care provider in that position? 860-522-WTIC. We still have Mike in Plainfield. I know he's been holding for a while.
No, I gave you all a new.
Oh, okay. Let's go to CJ on the shore. Hello, CJ. You want to Reese on the radio?
Hi, Reese. Okay, so here's my situation. My parents watch I have two kids now. But when my daughter was like 8 months, they were like, do you mind if we bring, your daughter to the park? And I'm like, oh my God, do you really have to bring her? She's 8 months. I mean, she doesn't even know how to go down a slide yet.
Right.
When I'm at work, I don't want to have to think, are they in a car accident?
Yes.
Did somebody steal or try carjacking them?
Yes.
And they're like, well, we like to also take her out to breakfast. I mean, what is she going to order? Short stack? I mean, she's 8 months old. Is she going to order an omelet?
Right.
I mean, please keep her at home. Read her books. She doesn't know the difference.
Right.
She doesn't know if she's, you know what I'm saying? Because this day and age is different.
Yeah.
I was a nanny from 2008 to 2012, and I had the parents let me drive the kids around. I was hiking with them in the woods.
How old were the kids, though, CJ? CJ, how old were the kids when you did the hiking thing?
When in 2008 to 12, the kids were 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I would say 6 and 8. That's how old they were.
Okay.
Now, it was a different time, though.
Okay.
I would never now go hiking with just my 2-year-old.
Wow.
Never. I would never do that.
So, I mean, but you're like everyone, because, I mean, again, myself and Roland, we were talking about this before we aired, and I said, look, I was a helicopter dad to the umpth degree. I wouldn't let people breathe on my son, much less be near him. Like, you had to treat him like a golden idol, like a deity, if you were ever in his presence. I wouldn't let anyone even, like, you couldn't breathe on him, much less touch him or try to canoodle with him. Roland said, those people always want to kiss and hug on your child. He wouldn't let them do that with his daughter. So I almost feel like that childcare thing, people are very particular about. Don't take my kid anywhere. I need them in this small little space. Keep them in the crib or whatever. Don't let them out of your sight, and don't go anywhere with them. So I'm not off my rocker here.
No, not at all. And I don't really consider myself a helicopter parent. I mean, like, if I'm working, I don't want to hear that you're in a car accident.
Yeah.
To me, it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
Keep the kids home and play with them. And people will say, oh, but, they want to do stuff with the kids. I understand, but maybe when they're a little bit older, maybe.
Yeah.
It's just when the kids are with them, it makes me nervous. They're in their late 60s, going to be in their 70s very soon.
Wow.
They're not as quick as they used to be. It just makes me a little nervous.
Okay. So CJ, it makes absolute sense that you would feel that way. You sound exactly like what you just said there was exactly what my wife said when I tested this question on her. So I appreciate where you're coming from. Thank you, CJ. Much appreciated. Let's go to Bill in Rocky Hill. Bill, you want to Reese on the radio on the Tom Feinberg Show.
Hey, Reese. Hey, real quick, just so you know, when the police went to the house, she had 4 more kids in the house. And the stove was on, so she was watching 7 kids at a time.
Ooh, and the stove was on. That's right. Yes, that was also in the story. So she was just. I think she may have bit off more than she could chew.
A little bit. All right, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Where is Eric? Eric is in Bristol. Hello, Eric. You on with Reese on the Radio?
Hello, how are you?
I'm pretty good.
Okay, I'm calling with a different point of view. My wife actually has a home daycare, and I help her. And our insurance company, because in the state of Connecticut, you do not have to have daycare insurance for a home daycare, does not allow us to take field trips.
Oh, wow.
And so, I mean, that's our insurance company, but the state of Connecticut, you're not required to have daycare insurance. My wife's been doing it for over 14 years, and we just have never done field trips because that's a whole other liability you're taking on.
Right. Yeah, that's another word that my wife used today. She said that was exactly, she said the liability in and of itself.
Right. And I help her with the daycare kids. I mean, it's enough having the 7 that we have. We have up to 9 because I help her, but still, that's a lot of responsibility from 4 months up to 3 years old.
4 months?
Take them out. And 4 months up to 3 years old, we can have kids. 3 years old, yep.
I wouldn't let Caleb out of my sight up until 2 years before I let him even around my mother. I wouldn't let him near my mother until he was close to 2. For the first 2 years, I wouldn't let him out of my sight.
Yep, my kids are all grown now, and I still want to know what's going on with them at 22 years old, 14 and 18, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense, man. Thank you. I appreciate it, Eric. Let's go to Ralph in South Carolina. Hello, Ralph. You're on with Reese on the Radio. How are you, sir?
Wonderful. Reese, a couple of things. First of all, you remember Carmela talking about how much you loved yellow school buses? Do you think that's the same bus she threw Joe under?
Yes, I do believe it. In fact, I'm almost positive it was electric.
Exactly. I mean, I guess the thing, Reese, that really gets me is this guy won the primaries.
Mm-hmm.
The Democrats wanted him to be the candidate, and as soon as the polls showed him getting beat, they threw him under. They didn't throw him under a bus. They threw him under a tank.
Did you hear about the Mark Kelly? Did you hear about the Mark Kelly aspect of all of this? The astronaut?
No.
Yeah. Turns out that Obama wanted him to be the candidate. And Biden
instead of Carmela.
Yeah, instead of Kamala. And Biden, throwing a little shade towards Obama through his support to Kamala Harris, endorsed her, forcing the Obama's hand because they knew that Obama was going to do an end around and make Mark Kelly the nominee in August during the convention. That was the end around. So Biden threw a little shade, a little backdoor jab at Barack Obama by endorsing Kamala, which is why Obama's took almost a week to endorse her.
Well, God knows with the way the Democrats are. I mean, he may be the nominee anyway.
Oh, man, exactly. Anything could happen. A lot of backbiting there, Ralph, indeed.
Reese, can you see this ad on TV? Carmela calling 18 to 24-year-olds stupid?
I have the audio, so I'll play that for you in due time. I promise. Trust me, it's going to be there's a whole scheme associated with that. I'll promise you I'll play it.
Can you see the ad showing Carmela talking to a crystal ball?
Ralph, let me get to Mark in West Hartford, man. I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you. Mark is in West Hartford. You're welcome, sir. Mark's in West Hartford. What's going on, Mark?
Hey, Reese. So I heard, Roland is, I guess, like-minded to you and I, because I'm the same way. I think I was doing helicopter parenting before the term came out.
The term came out, right?
It's really because my kids are 30, 28, and 24.
Okay.
And what I found here in West Hartford, now it's unique here. You got to remember, I don't have parents. The other parents seem to, parent in a different fashion. So
right.
I'll say, I guess nicely, they're incompetent.
Mm.
So when you'd hear if they're going to be at somebody else's house, you would like to go to them. Hey, I want you to treat my kids as though they were yours.
Right.
Well, in West Hartford, no. The fathers, the majority of them are beta males. If my kid acts up, if my kid is tormenting somebody to a point of bullying, I want you to step in.
Right.
I don't want you to be kind. And the same goes with the schooling. I mean, I can't even trust the teachers in town. I mean, we've talked about 5-year-old lay dying on a playground, a girl committing suicide. We just had a high school mentor they brought in that was molesting a girl because the teacher left them alone.
Wow.
With a 12-year-old. I mean, it's almost like I have to helicopter parent in this town for the parents that don't show up. You know, I go to the BOE meetings.
Yeah.
I go in there. I'm the only male.
Really?
There's other people up there speaking. Oh, when I say I'm surrounded by beta males, my father's generation, if the stuff going on back then that's going on here in West Hartford, the men in Hartford would have been at these meetings, even though they didn't want nothing to do with it. My father didn't go to PTA meetings.
Yeah, nobody does.
There was no teacher-parent conference.
Right, between dads. Right.
There would be. They would create one. I know my father would create one if he saw some of the stuff that's going on now in the school system. Can you imagine? I'm 64. My kids are so far removed from going to school, and I'm going in there again, being a helicopter parent for the men in town that aren't doing their job.
Listen to this.
You need to watch your kids. I mean, so don't ever feel bad because I don't trust the other parents,
right?
Whether they're weak or again incompetent, stupid. But yeah, you need to if you're.
But I'm more interested in this particular aspect, Mark. What I don't seem to understand is this particular child care provider. Listen to this portion of the story out of the Current. It said state police also interviewed the 11-year-old who was picked up at the bus stop. She said that she was riding in the front seat after being picked up, and the 2-year-old was in the back seat. And was not the child. It was not in the child seat or wearing a seatbelt. They said that another child was inside the car, just standing up and jumping around. So this sort of behavior where you got to bring all the kids because you're picking up kids from school, because this child care provider is pretty much dealing with all age ranges. So some kids aren't in school, some kids are. So she's got to bring everybody in, sort of in the car together to go pick up the kid from school. An 11-year-old, which I find interesting, isn't on a school bus because they have to be picked up by car. That's another story. But they got to come and pick them up. So
we're running out of time, but you're delving into a whole nother discussion, which is like when there's money involved, Reese.
Yeah.
I saw stuff in Hartford. We would get calls. I went to one where the daycare provider left twins alone in her apartment, and thank God a neighbor called. We went in there. One twin had, and they were little, had the old school phone machine tapes.
Yeah.
He had that out. Thankfully, he didn't tie that around his neck. Old school stove where you could turn the knobs on just by reaching up 6 inches for the kid. And as soon as she came in the hallway, the cops were there, we were there. As soon as she saw us, a neighbor goes, "That's her." She went running out the door.
Wow.
She had no idea if something happened to one of those twins. She had no idea. Obviously, she knew she was in trouble.
Yeah.
But she ran without even knowing. One of those kids could have been dead in there or hurt.
And she was just running to just save herself. Shows how much they care. Thank you, boss man. I appreciate it, Mark. We'll take some more calls in a bit on the 5 o'clock focus. Would you allow your child care provider to drive in a car with your child in tow? Let's get to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Hey, Mark.
All right, thank you very much, Reese. This traffic report being brought to you by Cape Cod Fence. And if you're making your way southbound 91 into downtown Hartford, you're going to see delays moving from exit 33 down to 32 A and B, again 27 to 28. Northbound 91's okay. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing East Hartford approaching the Bulkgate Bridge to 47. 84 eastbound tied up 44 Prospect Oakwood into the tunnel. 291 384 no issues east of the river. 2 eastbound's okay. Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing 22 in Middletown up to the Aragoni Bridge. Waterbury's okay. 84 and 8. If you're traveling 84 eastbound in Danbury, delays from 3 to 5. If you are southbound on the Parkway, look for slow traffic 61 and 60 in Hamden. Northbound Parkway slowing approaching 59 up into the West Rock Tunnel in New Haven. South 95 tight up from the Q Bridge down to 43 in West Haven. 91 southbound tight from 3 down in toward the 95 interchange in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Traffic brought to you by Cape Cod Fence. More than just fences. Cape Cod Fence Company in Canton is ready to enhance your outdoor living space. For over 5 decades, we've been building and installing quality fences, furniture, and sheds. Call 860-673-3211 or visit CapeCodFence.com. CapeCodFence.com.
WTIC weather. Well, the rest of the afternoon, a mix of clouds and sun with a thunderstorm in parts of the area, humid and warmer with the high of 88. Tonight, increasing clouds that'll remain warm and humid, the low only down to 74. For Wednesday, variably cloudy, very humid, but not as warm. We'll have a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, the high of 81. Thursday, warmer with partly sunny skies, the high of 91. And then Friday, clouds and sun, a thunderstorm in parts of the area, hot and humid with the high of 95. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
85 degrees at 5:30. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. There will be a murder trial for a man accused of killing the mother of his child in Ansonia in 2019. Their baby daughter, Vanessa Morales, remains missing. Jose Morales appeared in a Milford courtroom today. The prosecutor says there's been no plea deal despite attempts. Christine Holloway was killed. Her family and friends were in court today. Morales has been held by the state for more than 4 years on $5 million bond. Ronald Rowe, the acting director of the Secret Service, tells senators he's now seen for himself the spot where a would-be assassin took aim at Donald Trump.
I went to the roof of the AGR building where the assailant fired shots, and I laid in a prone position to evaluate his line of sight. What I saw made me ashamed. As a career law enforcement officer and a 25-year veteran with the Secret Service, I cannot defend why that roof was not better secured.
Rowe blames local police for not adequately protecting the scene. In a 91-3 vote, the Senate passes 2 bills intended to protect kids online. One of them, the Kids Online Safety Act, sponsored by Senator Richard Blumenthal.
The bipartisan bill is designed to protect children from dangerous online content. It will require platforms that are frequently used by minors to ensure they default to the safest settings possible and hold these companies accountable for any harm they do cause. The legislation was pushed by parents of children who died by suicide after online bullying. Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
American consumers felt more confident in July as near-term expectations rebounded. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
This report comes out as the Federal Reserve begins its 2-day policy meeting. It is unlikely to move the needle on what the Fed will do. The Fed is not expected to change rates at this meeting, but it is likely to be looking at September as the first rate cut of the cycle.
CBS says Norah O'Donnell is stepping down as anchor of the CBS Evening News effective after the November election. The closing bell report brought to you by Bouvier Insurance. The Dow up 203 points. S&P was down 27. NASDAQ down 223. Sports, Red Sox and Mariners, pregame 6:10 on WTIC. Yankees at Philadelphia. Mets hosting.
Michael B., to your question, yes, all week.
A key Olympic result right now. The USA women won the gold medal in the team gymnastics final. Men's soccer, the U.S. beat Guinea 3-0. The Americans advanced to the quarterfinals. In tennis, American Coco Gauff is out, beaten by Donna Vekic of Croatia. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker.
Rama, I used to do that all the time. If you can keep them on both, that's good.
Causes a host of problems. These include a low sex drive, bad sleep patterns, unproductive workouts, decreased energy, brain fog, and more. But many men just attribute these symptoms to aging and don't consider that there are medical treatments that can give them back their vigor and vibrancy. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and if you're feeling like I just described, it's time for you to treat that low T and change your life. At Northeast Men's Health, we're experts in treating low testosterone and other men's sexual health conditions. We've successfully treated thousands of men for low T and have seen the amazing difference that those treatments can make in a man's life. If you're feeling like the vast majority of men who are low T, within just a few weeks, you'll feel your energy return. That brain fog will go away. Your sleep will improve, as will your workouts, and your sex drive will be significantly enhanced as well. So make an appointment and make a true life change. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices across the Northeast to serve you.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement.
1 minute.
Founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's the 5 o'clock focus. It's the 5 o'clock focus. Come on, man. Focus already.
You should add, Roland, that part where Jay-Z says the beginning of Best of Me. I'm focused, man.
Oh, yeah, that would be tough.
I was thinking about that the other day. Emergency crews at 314 responded to the Sunnybrook Lane in Clinton on the report of an accident involving a 2-year-old who was run over by the 2024 Toyota Grand Highlander that Santiago was driving. A man who was home at the time of the crash said he ran outside to see what was happening when he heard a woman screaming. And when he got there, he saw the child trapped underneath the vehicle and the woman, later identified as Santiago, screaming frantically, the warrant affidavit said. The man said he instructed Santiago to call 911 and put the vehicle in reverse to get it off the child's legs, according to the warrant affidavit. He said he rendered aid to the boy until first responders arrived. And again, it's a crazy scenario because of the elements of, just childcare. People talk about this all. I've heard, you've heard the horror stories, kids get into accidents, they fall off shelves. Weirdly enough, they're climbing up shelves. It's like some people clearly have more than they can handle in a childcare business. Some people go to childcare facilities like I guess they're called are they called, what do they call them? Roland, gosh, it's been so long since I had a kid in childcare. Some of them are called like nursery schools. I guess that's what you would call them. Like they're not pre-K schools, they're nursery schools or whatever. So they have these small places where you can send your young child. And not that, I don't know if they're overrun or whether or not they're understaffed or the people are qualified. Daycares. Okay, thank you. That's the term. Thank you, cute one. These daycares, if the kids are running around and the place looks like Animal House, the kids are climbing on things and, you've got to pull them off stuff, that you got to pull glue out of their mouths and stuff like that. Perhaps you don't want that child there. But I know that some people are forced to put their kids into some of these child care places or these daycare centers because financially they're cheaper. Right? It's like they don't cost that much. It's only a couple of $100 a month. Those are the ones that I'm concerned about. Very weird. Let's go to Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Did you put your kids in daycare at all? Was that a thing?
No, we did what? Preschool?
Preschool, okay.
Yeah, that's what we did. Preschool.
So preschool, yeah, that's involved in the school system. But you wouldn't leave them in one of these sort of rinky-dink, Sarah and Laura places where they had 20 kids in the house.
Yeah, thank God we didn't have to do that. But no, he went to a preschool, and he was also involved in some program with the high school.
Oh, okay.
High school kids, and yeah, it was kind of a neat program. So it
was sort of like the high school kids taking care of younger children?
Well, no, they had like adults there, but they had the high school kids working with the kids.
Oh,
so it's kind of but they had supervision. They had like a regular.
Yeah, so like the kids are in childcare, sort of like an internship kind of deal.
Yeah, it was so funny though, because at the end of the year, he's strutting out with me, and all the kids are saying hi to him. He knows all these high school
Ah,
kids.
that's
So
cool.
funny. Yeah, it was great. It was great.
That's a confidence builder for a kid.
Definitely, definitely. I said, Zach, you're going to be roaming these halls in about 10 years, so, get used to this joint. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound 91 delays 33 down to 32, again down by exit 28 on the Hartford Weathersfield line. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is a little tight approaching the Bulkley Bridge at 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound slowing about a half mile before 46 up to 48 Capitol Avenue. Looks good east of the river, 291 through 84. 2 eastbound's okay in the Glastonbury. 9 northbound's a little slow at the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. Waterbury's okay downtown, 84 and 8. If you're heading into New Haven, southbound on the Wilbercross Parkway, look for slow traffic as you move from exit 62 down to 60 in Hamden. Southbound 95 New Haven slowing Q Bridge down to 43 in West Haven. 91 southbound slows from 4 down in toward the 95 interchange. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather. All right, as we head through the rest of the evening and overnight, it'll be warm and humid with increasing clouds. The low only down to 74 tonight. Variably cloudy, couple of showers and a thunderstorm for our Wednesday. Warm and very humid, the high of 82. Now, Thursday, it'll be warmer, partly sunny. Going to be a hot and humid day with a high of 91. Friday, clouds and sun again, a thunderstorm in parts of the area. Quite warm and humid, the high up to 89. And then Saturday, cloudy, hot and humid with a thunderstorm in a couple of spots, the high up to 92. Currently, Bridgeport at 82. Danbury also 82, and it's 84 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Find what you love and love what you find at Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer and thousands of wines. Only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. B21.
Columbia Implant Center introduces AI technology to our multi-specialty practice and digital lab. We fabricate teeth replacement with efficiency, quality, and accuracy. 1 day, same day, 7 days. Call 860-730-6020 or visit ColumbiaImplantCenter.com.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
At California Psychics, we know that when you haven't found love, it feels like everyone else has. Every movie has a love interest. Every song is a love song. Where are all the songs about cats? Or the joy of early bedtime? And of course, the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to help you find the one. We connect you with the very best. In fact, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. That's why we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So you could be feeling all lovey-dovey real soon. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
WTIC has always been the place to turn when there's a crisis. How about January 17th, 1978? That was
1 minute.
Of Hartford skipped a beat. It was the day the Hartford Civic Center roof collapsed. WTIC staff members who were a part of our school closing team were actually staying overnight at the Sheraton Hartford Hotel due to the fact that snow was predicted and school closings were expected. At 4:19 in the morning, WTIC sales manager Bob Dunn was woken by a loud roar, his room actually overlooking the Civic Center, and he could see for himself that the roof had fallen in. He immediately called the newsroom, and in minutes the story was on the air and reporters were on the scene talking with witnesses, sending reports back to the station.
Coming in right after the drop.
And actually
Okay.
around
At in Bristol.
for community leaders on the future
Who's in Bristol?
of the Civic Center. Today's
Matt.
with an exclusive interview with Governor Ella Grassa.
Sandy Terenzi and the Livian team at Keller Williams is proud to sponsor this moment in WTIC history. The real estate team offers extensive services, support, and expertise. So if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, call them at 860-855-SOLD.
It's the 5 o'clock focus.
It's the 5 o'clock focus.
I'm focused, man.
I like that. Not bad. Look at him. Quick on the draw, rolling. It's Reese on the Radio, NewsTalk. Oh, gosh, 1080 WTIC. Michael B. said the state subsidizes a ton of child care places in Connecticut called Care for Kids, the Care for Kids program. I did not know that. The telephone number, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Let's go to Matt in Bristol. Hello, Matt. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, Reese. First, let me just say thank you for sharing that story about, with the movie and the reading and everything. That was a cool insight into you.
Oh, you're talking about Network at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're welcome. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's really, really changed my mind. It really gave me a completely different perspective on news media and what I do here. I think it really, really broadened my sort of outlook on the importance of talk radio and what television does to, I think, our society writ large.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it was really cool to see kind of like the precipice of where you came from and the angle you're taking. So
yeah,
cool.
Thank you.
But your 5 o'clock hour, no, I would not let someone drive my kid. I won't even let anyone drive my dog anywhere.
Wow.
Period. I would never let someone drive my dog somewhere.
So give me a little background on this, Matt, just from your perspective. I know the obvious, right? Because, and most people would say that in a situation like that, it would be our lack of control. Because whatever was happening with our loved one, in your case, the dog, right? Or even your child, someone else, it's not that you don't trust that they would be responsible. It's whether or not they would react the way that you would in the event of some calamity, an oncoming car, somebody, running a red light or maybe veering into your lane. That in that situation, you don't know how they would react to it and whether or not they would have the best interest in protecting your loved one in the car. Is that even remotely close to what we're talking about?
That's exactly it. Like,
okay.
I would jump in front of the windshield to save my kid or my dog.
Right.
I can't expect someone else to do that. So I just don't trust that they're paying attention or this girl that didn't even buckle the kid in. Like, it's just a headache you don't need. It's a worry. I wouldn't even be able to do my job and work thinking about that. I would be a nervous wreck the entire day. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, and I think for guys like me, you, and even Roland for that matter, I use that term helicopter parent loosely because, sometimes people take a jab at it that we're a little too overprotective of our children. But I think you're right. I think you hit it on the head. It is an undue anxiety or an anxiety that you don't need to it would be forcing anxiety on your own life or a headache that you don't need while you're trying to focus at work or focus on your task or whatever the thing is that you've got to deal with. Now you've got the added pressure of, are my kids or is my dog okay?
Yeah, I'd be waiting for a text the second you got home to make sure that they're okay. And for that whole time, I wouldn't be able to focus, and I just can't do it. I'd rather figure something else out.
Yeah.
And go to work late, skip that hour, pick them up myself, and then go back to work and stay at work late.
Would you bring the kid back to your office and just have him sit there the entire time, like with you at work, just so you can keep an eye on him?
If I'd have to, but
I would do that.
I don't mind if there's someone sitting them at the house.
Right.
But I would bring them home and then go back to work.
Right.
I I could never do that.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm going to tell you something, Matt. Listen to me. No one here has called in and has been far off. You don't even need this story in the background to come to that conclusion about your child. I think most people innately feel this way when it comes to their children. You don't need the added pressure of that kid driving around with, it doesn't matter whether or not it's a stranger, with anyone. You're always concerned about the other knuckleheads on the street that could possibly do harm. That's all you're worried about.
That's it.
Yeah.
And unless it's maybe my mother,
yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, I hear you. Everyone's got that set group of people that they will allow because you know exactly what their intent would be under those circumstances. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. Let me take this before I take James in Plymouth. I want to say this, James. Hear me out. This is a true story, and I'll never forget it. And my current wife has done this recently, and she's done this in the past. But I did it once, and I was a wreck. I'm in Boston. I'm on the radio, and my young stepson, Ethan, comes up to visit me. And something happens where he has to get back home, and it's an emergency for him to have to go home. But I can't leave because I've got to be on the air on Monday. And we've got nobody to fill in for me, and I've got to get him back home to New York, New Jersey in particular. So I can't get a plane ticket because it's last minute, and a plane ticket's going to cost upwards of $500, on this, day before. So we couldn't afford that. I was working in radio, and it wasn't like I had that kind of dough on me. So I only had one choice, and that was to put this child on a Greyhound bus from Boston to New York. And let me see, it's 2008. So at the time, he would have been 11 because he was born in 97. So it's 2008. He's 11. And I put him on this Greyhound bus. And I'm standing there at the station, and he gets on the bus, and he's leaving. And I got to tell you, the whole time I'm there, I'm feeling like the worst parent in the world. I'm feeling cheap. I'm feeling horrible. I feel like I'm deserting him. I'm leaving him to the elements for him to take that bus 4.5 hours back to New York City for his mother to pick him up. I felt like it was the worst 4 hours of my life. Did I eventually get over it? Yes. But for those 4 hours, I couldn't, every scenario in the world, I was thinking meteors were going to fly and hit the bus. Everything that you could think of, I was thinking it. I still will not forget that day. I still feel bad about it.
I would have never did that.
You'd have never done it, right? Roland's like, I would have never done that. But I did. And I'm telling you, the only reason why I remember it is because it's like a bad accident. You feel it, and I'm going, ugh. Rama said, I've done the bus ride from Boston to New York. 4.5 hours. Imagine being stuck in traffic, and it's 7 hours. On the Bronx, what do you call it? On the George Washington Bridge, interchange. It was horrible. It was a horrible 7 hours. Now, let's get to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. James is in Plymouth. Hello, James. Thank you for indulging me. How are you, sir?
Hey, Reese on the radio. You're great on the radio.
Thank you.
Man, you're a horrible father.
I know. Look, I deserve that.
4.5 hour ride.
I deserve that.
Amazing.
I totally deserve that. You have no idea how much I beat myself. I'm mentioning it now. It's over 14 years ago. 15 years now? I'm still talking about it. That's how horrible I feel.
Well, the thing is, you felt that bad that it's still with you, and it haunts you.
Yes.
It haunts you a little bit.
Yeah.
It is what it is. My question is, I heard Morgan Cunningham talking about this on the radio early in the morning yesterday, maybe?
Day before.
And was this woman, ever once vetted by the parents?
Such a great question.
53-year-old woman. Baby falls out. 2 kids at home with a stove on.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many variables that could have gone wrong.
Anything.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
There's just
this woman. This is basically what the charges she's getting is what she deserves.
Right.
I don't feel bad for her. And you know what? Attorneys, stay home. Don't do anything for her. Just let her pay a fine.
She's got a right to be defended.
Let her children again.
She'll listen.
You know?
I believe she will take a plea deal. This is not one of those things she wants to fight in court. She'll take a plea deal.
It's absolutely so ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have children of my own, but I did raise when I met my girl, she had a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
And I had to pick them up from school every single day. And those teachers are out there every day.
Yeah.
Making sure that she had somewhere to go, where he had somewhere to go, a nice safe ride home. And you know what? I was there.
Yeah.
I was never under the influence. Maybe this woman was under the influence. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. Or maybe distracted by too many things happening at the same time. That there's a possibility of that she just got overwhelmed. And, she just lost sight of it. The fact that the child was not strapped into a child chair.
Not strapped in.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I want to get at.
Yeah,
I want to know where the vetting process is.
I hear you, James.
We're letting all these crazy people into this country.
James, let me move on. I appreciate you, buddy. I got two more calls I got to take, man. Thank you so much. Let's go to Dave in Brantford. Hello, Dave. You're on Reese on the Radio.
Yeah, Reese, quick hit. I noticed when the power is equal, you worry less. I'm thinking of when the kids had play dates and I drove my kid to your house and then you drove my kid back. And, we kind of trade who rides.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you've got their kid as hostage if they break your kid. And I never really worried that the other parents were bad. And maybe there's something for parents to think about. When the kids got old enough, 16 to 18 baseball, and they started driving themselves to practice or to the fields, then I was a little nervous about letting them ride with their
We got one now.
Co-players.
We got one now, 17 tomorrow. He's going to be driving his own car.
And here's props for baseball. I never once, in 14 years of coaching and being a hanger-on, I never once saw drugs or drink among those kids involved with sports. And that's my encouragement. The sports is good to keep them out of trouble. But it's a little bit creepy when they drive themselves.
Yeah.
I'm all done.
Thank you, Dave. All right, last call. Let's go to Peter in Canton. Hello, Peter. You on Reese on the Radio?
How you doing today?
How are you, sir?
I'm good. What you're talking about are control freaks. You're a control freak.
I agree. I think I totally stated that. I am a little bit of a control freak.
99% of the time when I go out with my wife, I drive. But once in a while, I have to be in the I'm the co-pilot.
Right.
And I'm a wreck. By the time I get home, I'm a wreck. I have to be driving.
So we know for a fact, but Peter will never, ever allow his children to be driven by strangers. I appreciate that.
I have to drive.
I hear. Hey, I'm a little bit like that too. And you know what? I will take the complaining of my wife, who will complain the entire time. She can see.
She's a great driver.
My wife can see brake lights in Detroit. Okay.
Okay.
That's how bad she is.
I'm a great driver. It's more just I'm a control freak.
I hear you.
That's why I can't fly on planes because you have no control.
That's right. You're in. Listen to me. You're in a flying tin can with a stranger. I agree with you. Thank you, Peter. I appreciate you, folks. Thank you, everybody, for today's 5 o'clock focus. We'll be back here tomorrow. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the Radio. He is Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. You guys have a wonderful night. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you. You too have a great night. If you're heading into Hartford, Southbound 91.
All right, good sir.
That was a good show.
Yeah, that was.
All right, buddy, tomorrow.
Yes, sir, tomorrow.
All right.
Into the Hartford tunnel.
You like that quick turnaround, though, huh?
Not bad, not bad.
Yeah.
81-384, no issue.
All right, folks, thank you. It's been my pleasure, and thank you guys for all hanging out, man. You are the best. I love you. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. You guys be